Say that, Geico.com.
Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Monday, March 20th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $ ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. Today's show will be NFL Free Agency Frenzy. My full breakdown. We're going to go over grades for every team and just kind of where we sit right now. And we've actually had some key moves, kind of just buttoned up here within the last, I would say, hour and a half, 2 hours. So it kind of made me evaluate where I had my, my strong seven, and I'm trying to be able to have that sensational strong seven. There's definitely other teams that are close. Not everyone is going to be able to get an A grade based on what they've done in free agency. You always want to build through the draft. But I did kind of go over every single team, did all the players, all the key additions, the re-signings, and also the key losses, and then try to do a quick little breakdown. It wasn't really quick, though. Took some time, and we're watching the World Baseball Classic with Mexico up 3-0 on the homeland, Japan. So we'll see what happens here. And I know there's going to be some NBA and some other things that'll be kind of trickling in later on. But I'm definitely going to be watching this World Baseball Classic final because whoever wins, and most people thought it would be Mexico lining up against USA, the championship is tomorrow. And then that's what we'll do. Now, I've wanted to do this breakdown in this show, for about a week now. But then as a lot of you know, I've been sick, very, very sick. And I had a stomach bug that pretty much took me out for a week. And we just got back into the kind of the thick of things over the weekend. So I wanted to kind of dedicate my own show to break down NFL. Since the NFL season has ended, we haven't did a lot of NFL coverage. We've been just kind of doing games, whatever it may be, NBA, college, basketball, XFL, NASCAR, whatever it may be. But I'm definitely willing to go over NFL every day if that's what the fans want to do, and we can get a good amount of people to kind of go over things. But also I want to be able to take advantage of events like the WBC final tomorrow. Japan did have bases loaded. No, Ohtani was going to be up next after the previous hitter, but they ended up getting out. And hey, Randy's playing great. Randy is playing great. And Mexico is still up 3-0, and I imagine that they will end up playing the USA. And Mexico could beat USA. I don't think this is just a lock because Mexico's pitchers are better than ours. So we'll kind of see where it goes. But I did some extra prep work, and I hope everyone enjoys it. And some people will catch a little bit of the replay as well. How are you? Let's get to 100 in donos. Let's do it. Daniel in the building. And like I said, I'll kind of, I don't really know. Usually I start a little bit later, so I'll kind of go through some of the teams that I felt, that kind of scored and did well, and then we'll do a breakdown, and then if people kind of trickle in, we can always repeat some of the moves. But to go over some of the moves that I really did like, obviously in this free agency period, but before I do touch into that, Mexico 3, Japan 0, top of the 6, 1-1 count, 1 out. So we'll see where it goes. I wanted obviously to see kind of where Ohtani was going to be able to show his, skill set in this, but I already knew it was going to be very, very difficult. And Mexico 3-run homer early on, and they've been able to hang on. So let's go over the first team. As we'll wait for other people to kind of trickle in. And we're going to go with the Chicago Bears, and I'm going to be doing logos there in the top right. I tried to find things that were transparent so it looks very streamlined and smooth. So, your boy obviously not only did the research, I had to go through every single team. I had to find some spreadsheets, and I had to go through, a few different websites. Then I had to do the reading and kind of go over. But I'm trying to think, okay, there's a lot of teams that I feel that could, deserve an A grade or one of my top 7, right? And definitely the Chicago Bears are at the very, very top, but they are not number 1. They were competing for number 1. And obviously we've had some moves earlier today as well, but, they're definitely up there towards the top. And a big part of that, as you guys know, we've had a week to kind of reflect and see if there's anything new that's going to come up. But it was a big Panther trade from the Bears, for number 1. And obviously if you look, and I'll even take the banner down. So you get the DJ Moore, and let's go here, and we got to go here. All right, here. So we got the DJ Moore. Then you got the 2024 first-round pick. right? And then obviously you got the 9th overall pick. You got the 61st overall pick. You got the 2025 second round pick. I mean, that's a lot of incentive, okay? And obviously we know the Panthers get the number 1, but the Chicago Bears, DJ Moore, you finally get, your boy Fields, a true number 1 receiver, even though some people think that he's not. He really is a number 1, because if you would have put him with Aaron Rodgers, Aaron with the Packers, he wouldn't have given you Devontae Adams type of numbers, but a little bit less, but still like really good. If you don't really think that DJ Moore could have got 10 to 13 touchdowns with an excellent quarterback, you're crazy. So you haven't watched any Panther games whatsoever, ever, for anyone that says that, right? Then you ended up getting a linebacker, TJ Edwards, linebacker. So you got TJ Edwards, you got Tremaine Edmonds, right? Another linebacker, D tackle Andrew Billings. And another good one was the D'Onta Foreman, the running back, right? So you got him and Travis Homer. So you got those two guys. So that's kind of a good move to be able to get rid of Montgomery. And you already have Khalil Herbert there. So I kind of like what they did. So D'Onta Foreman, oh my God, Tremaine Edmonds, oh shit. Robert Big Bob Tonyan from the Packers. All right, DeMarcus Walker, Nate Davis, right? And then quarterback PJ Walker. Obviously, we've seen him float around here and there, but Chicago Bears, right? The re-signings, Kyrie Blasingame at the fullback. That obviously was a key re-signing, but the only losses they had was Montgomery, which isn't a big deal. Trevor Siemian, not a big deal. And Riley Reif, not a big deal. So, GM Ryan Poles is really doing big business, right? And obviously from trading back and getting all of these things and the DJ Moore, that's huge. So you already know that they're just trying to be able to, move on from Montgomery, because that was wise, because you already had a Khalil Herbert, right? He's very shifty. When Herbert got his chance to get out there, sometimes he was even just as productive as a Montgomery. Was Montgomery the better back? Of course. But we know Herbert, if he's going to be able to go with him and Foreman, that's a good 1-2 punch. Then someone gets hurt, boom, you can throw in Homer. Now, is Homer going to be able to carry you? Fuck no. But at least it gives you another change of pace back. He's kind of shifty. If you watch any Seahawks games, and if they ever had injuries at the running back position, which is every game, right, you might be able to see guys like Homer occasionally get in, even if he was like 4th string, 3rd string, right? Foreman could be a stud. He could be a starter. But again, DJ Moore, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Andrew Billings, D'Onta Foreman, Robert Tonyan, DeMarcus Walker, Nate Davis, Travis Homer, PJ Walker. Pretty good. Pretty fucking good. And I mean, this might be able to help out, the Panthers as well. But I really do like what the Bears did. And I think most people would say that the Bears were probably number 1, number 2. I mean, and deservedly so. Like I said, they were like, oh, they could have got somebody, but they already had Justin Fields. So it just made sense just to try to get as much as you can. And if you're looking at some of the pieces, Edmonds is a very good player. DJ Moore, is a top 20 receiver that, anytime a new quarterback comes into the league, he needs to get a true number 1 receiver within the first 3 years if you want that QB to succeed. If you wait longer, the quarterback might not be there, or people are going to get fired, or you might get traded. So a lot of times, like even with Lamar Jackson, we bitch, we complain. He's a lot better than Kyler, right? And we also know he's never had a true number 1 receiver ever. He's had a number 1 tight end in Mark Andrews, but never a number 1 receiver. So it'll be very cool to see Justin Fields, not only be able to do his thing and run and be the best runner our league pretty much has to offer besides Lamar, right? They're going to be both breaking records here and there, right? But to be able to throw the football, it doesn't have to always go to Cole Kmet now. It's like you got some other weapons. Mooney's still there. You got some weapons, but it's slowly getting better. And then you get a guy like Big Bob Tonyan for checkdowns. I like that. Then you got, Foreman. I mean, you already had good running game before. So, I mean, some people might say that's a downgrade by losing Montgomery. But I think if you think that, you didn't really see Khalil Herbert play at all, or Foreman, because I think between the two of them, you're going to be able to get Montgomery production and maybe a little more, and then nice insurance with the Homer, as well as PJ Walker. Would I have liked someone better than PJ Walker? Yeah, but I mean, they don't assume Fields probably will be out for that long, but they might need to be able to see who else they have in the building. So definitely wanted to go over the Chicago Bears early. And like I said, I have breakdowns. This took some time. I have breakdowns of everything, of every single team. So if we don't get a fan of every single team, we can always carry this over as the week goes. So like, if we end up doing like a couple divisions, and then other people come in later and want to, go over, I can give you my honest opinion with no bias on how things are going. So what's good, man? What's good? I'm just grinding. Mexico 3, Japan 0. Took some time with this. And like I said, I have enough information for like a week worth of streams, just based on breaking down every single team and whatnot. So Finley in the building. And as far as the people that are in the room, they will get first dibs regardless. Donations obviously are appreciated, but even ones that aren't, if you want to be able to go over, you're here, I'm going to go over every team. It may not have to be tonight, but I have all the information. So like I said, it just took a long time to be able to, go do the own research, watch the film, just a little bit here and there, get brought up with everything that is shifted with additions, re-signings, losses, because you have to break that down. It's not just about the additions. You got to go to see who did you get re-signed. That's a very important thing in this time period. And then the losses is a no-brainer. You don't have that motherfucker on the team anymore. What did you get to replace? Is it better? Are you getting rookie draft picks possibly? And so it's a really give and take. That is big facts. So my guy, truly one of the best quarterback in the area. Bearline Cam Newton will be throwing at Auburn's Pro Day. It'll be interesting to see what he has out there. Yes. And like I said, it's nice for fans, that aren't Green Bay Packer fans. So it's like if you're, in the division and you're Vikings, you're Bears, you're Lions, now it's a little bit more even. It's no longer, do we think Jordan Love will be as impactful as Aaron Rodgers? Probably not. But there's still some pieces there to get wins. There was a lot of key losses. Big Bob Tonyan, one of them, right? I know a lot of Packer fans are not very happy. And you could definitely look at everyone in free agency and say that Green Bay, you could say, might be an F grade, a D- F grade, where they might be literally team 32 of 32. Because not only did you lose a lot of key pieces, Rodgers wanted to kind of say, fuck you. And he's like, I want to go to the Jets and Jets only. What do you think that does for trade value? That doesn't give you any leverage whatsoever for other teams to be able to compensate. He pretty much just said, I'm going here. Alan the Lizard Lazard is there. Regardless if he retires. But, he always wants to be able to have the leverage. You know what I mean? A little FU middle finger to the organization, regardless, they can say how much they enjoyed each other. Obviously there's been some hard feelings. I feel both ways on how things were handled. And you wouldn't say, I only want to go to one team unless you were being like, I don't want you to get anything. I want you to get as least as you can for me. I don't want to help you guys whatsoever, moving forward. And the Jets have an up and coming, bright team, but it's just like when Brett Favre went there, you're only going to get so much. If you're expecting Aaron Rodgers to go to the Jets and take you to the Super Bowl, it's never going to happen. Are you going to get some exciting plays? And are they going to be better than what they were? Yeah, but they are a fucking dumpster fire on the line. And a big part of why the trade hasn't gone through just yet is because they don't want to give up that first round pick. They want to pick an offensive lineman. They don't want to use that for Aaron. So, and I understand because the offensive line is fucked. And whenever they get these new offensive linemen that are fantastic in the draft in the last couple of years, they've gotten hurt for the season. So it's like, oh my God, I got this top 10 pick. Oh, he's injured after the second game, and now we don't even have him. So that's really detrimental, especially when they have like Pro Bowl talent right out of the gates, if they're going to be like maybe a potential Hall of Fame offensive lineman one day. So, I got some teams, here. I do like what the Jets have done, up to this point, but I would assume the Aaron Rodgers thing is going to end up happening. Yes, and I do have that here. I ended up doing the research and going through, and yeah, obviously with the news with this, and let's take down the logos. I got logos for all the teams in my sensational 7, but obviously here, this is another scenario that we could talk about as I go through things, and I'll be covering many, many topics today. All right, so we got the Dalton Schultz, Devin Singletary, and obviously that'll be a part of my rankings with what I have. And then the Bills signed Damian Harris. But the thing is, right, as you see him in the Patriot uniform, another running back that is still not good enough to carry the load for Josh Allen, right, to be able to get past the teams like the Bengals and the Chiefs. You need someone better. I get it. You got him, but getting these guys that are RB2s or borderline RB1s, it's just not going to cut it. Now, if you end up getting the best running back in the draft, from Texas, if you get something like that, Buffalo Bills, and you add that, with a Damian Harris, then I'm saying, okay. But if that doesn't happen, and you just keep fucking reaching for these guys in the draft or free agents that are RB2s, RB3s, borderline RB1s, it's not going to help the Bills get over the top. You need better O-line. You need a 3-down stud running back, right? And you also need better defense. Facts. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, good for them. But that if they're banking on him being the guy, they're in trouble, because he can receive out of the backfield. He can run through the guards and the tackles. He's athletic. I like him, but he's not good enough, with what they have to be able to keep it moving. And then obviously I have the Dalton Schultz and the Devin Singletary. So since we're already talking about that, and we talked about that, I obviously can go over all my moves, but this is the team right here that I feel that is number one right now in free agency. A lot of people thought it was going to be this team right here that I just went over with the Chicago Bears. They're like, oh, Chicago Bears is number one, right? They've done so many things. Look at all the things that they did, right? But I'm like, you know what? After today and the moves that were made, you have to understand the Texans right now are in the number one position, right, with what they did with Dalton Schultz, even if it's just short-term for a year, and Devin Singletary, who's more of an RB2, not an RB1, all right, because you have to add it to everything else that they've already done. All right, so today they got Dalton Schultz. Today they got Devin Singletary. And then you also got D-tackle Sheldon Rankins, safety Jimmy Ward, wide receiver Robert Woods, running back Mike Boone, wide receiver Noah Brown. You've heard of these names. Some of these names may have not been the top guys, but they're guys that you've heard of that have made plays. Quarterback Case Keenum, fullback Andrew Beck, edge Chase Winovich, D-tackle Hassan Ridgeway, and guard former Patriot and Buck Shaq Mason. That's a kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? And you got to think with D'Amico Ryans, he's trying to build a baby 49ers. You can tell when you see certain people like Mike McDaniel is trying to build a 49er Dolphin. You see guys, Saleh, a little bit of a 49er, Jets, a little bit of that personality of where they came from. They try to establish that at their new location. But just those names that I said alone, isn't that crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I was thinking if the Texans make a couple more moves, I was like, they're going to be my number one team. And I wanted to wait a little bit. My Bears were going to be the number one. But I was like, you know what? With these two guys signed today on top of everyone that they had, and then Davier Thomas, cornerback MJ Stewart, edge Derek Rivers. Those were the key re-signings. All right. And you had some losses, right? Smith, Jordan Akins, Kyle Allen, Philip Dorsett, Justin McCray, Brandon Cooks, just to name a few. But I don't think anyone really cares that much about those guys. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, we're talking about one of the worst teams in the NFL. But, with the draft position and D'Amico Ryans, if you added some good pieces, some solid guys, this could really make a difference. And obviously, as you see, I'll have the nice, beautiful, streamlined logo there in the top right. I put a lot of effort in everything I do, The Texans, just like the Lions and the Bears, they were sitting on fine spending money and strong draft capital. But you know what? They didn't waste the opportunity. They were like, fuck it, man. Let's not only spend money, but find athletic bodies. So with GM Nick Caserio, defensive-minded coach D'Amico Ryans, you already know what he wanted, right? He wanted to get guys that fit his personality. Rankins, Ward, Woods, Beck, Mason. That gives him 5 new starters, right? 5. Right? On top of Dalton Schultz and Devin Singletary, 7 starters, right? Potentially 7 starters, potentially within this last about week or so. And they got the number 2 and the number 12 pick. Do they keep number 12? Do they trade back, accumulate some more? I think this team is in the best position to go from shitty, to being semi-relevant a little bit faster, just like with the Jags. You had to find Dougie P. You had to find Trevor Lawrence. This team, again, if, number one Panthers go for CJ Stroud, or if they don't and go Richardson and do something crazy, or Bryce Young, they're going to get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, right? And so whoever that they get, building around with these pieces, this is going to be one of the funnest teams that everyone is like, this team sucks. But it's going to be like going back when Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt and, Arian Foster, like, certain, players from back of the year, like, I don't mind watching the Texans. Like now it's kind of like, do I really want to watch this team? But now once they get their franchise QB and, DeMeco Ryans is there, slowly but surely they should be, climbing up the pecking ladder, and they're not going to be the worst team in the division. And we already know, Titans and Colts have some things to kind of worry about. The Jags look like they might be the best team in the division, right? But the Texans, they're not that far back than the other teams in the division. Remember, just a couple years ago, the AFC South was the worst division in football. Now it may be the NFC South with my team, with the Bucs in it, right? But with those names and with these additions today, and that's why I usually wait, I make sure I process all the information. And these two key signings today of Devin Singletary, Dalton Schultz, on top of Sheldon Rankins, Jimmy Ward, Robert Woods, Mike Boone, Noah Brown, Case Keenum, Andrew Beck, Chase Winovich, and Hassan Ridgeway, and Shaq Mason. Hey, that's got to be number one. I mean, anyone that wants to argue or, they want to go another route, prove to me that there's anyone else in a better position based on what I've said with the names that are there, and they have 2 and 12. I mean, we're talking about impact guys that you can get. One will be the franchise quarterback, but 12 could turn into 2 more guys, 3 more guys, depending on how smart they are, or if they just pull the trigger, right? Make sure that if you're going to go for it, make sure that you're going to be able to get the right pieces, and you might be able to get 2 All-Pros, 2 Hall of Famers, 2 really solid picks. So it'll be very interesting to see if they keep at 12 or they trade back. And let's say they trade back and get 2 more picks and they hit on those 2 picks. You might be able to have 3 sensational guys out of the first round instead of just maybe 1. I'm very intrigued with the Houston Texans there. And then obviously, as we know, the Chicago Bears, with the load that they made, I like what they did. And I'm just trying to be able to, evaluate each team fairly. And I got a few other teams here as well. I'll go through the comments, but I have 7. And then obviously I'll give you, kind of my opinion on my own garbage team and, with what's going on there. So, all right, let's go through here. But it did take some time. You wouldn't think it would be as difficult finding transparent logos for your favorite, NFL team, but there's just so much fluff out there and stuff that doesn't look good, or you'll find stuff that has the circle border, square border. I want it to be streamlined where it looks good, so sometimes you got to dig a little bit further, but I like the way that it turned out with the logos. That's damn sure. All right, let me scroll down here. Yeah. Yes, sir. And that's why, I was going to wait to do that a little bit later, but it's definitely good to be able to throw that out there early. So, we get that. Amber in the building. How are you? Long time no talk. Long time no speak. I got the Saints on my list. Yeah. And I'll go over the Saints now. I don't know how long you're going to be here. So let me go over the Saints next. I actually was going to go over them. They are one of my sensational 7. So obviously I don't need to be a hater. So let's see here. So let's go here. And look at, I even got your nice little Saints logo there in the corner. I might be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan through and through. Yes, a lot of the Saints fan base is toxic, right? A lot of fan bases have toxic people in them. But regardless of that, there's some really good people and some good fans there. And, sometimes, you might need to go and listen to a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan that's not biased and find out that I'm not, harassing or saying a bunch of bad things about the Saints. And if anything, I'm giving them a lot of praise. And I really love on what they ended up doing, in this particular, free agency period, because we were like, okay, who's going to be the quarterback? What are we going to get? Just with this move alone. All right. Just with this single move alone, it puts you at the top of the NFC South crown. Okay. We already know the Buccaneers and the Panthers and Falcons. We're getting better, even though that we are obviously, with me, I'm rebuilding. Panthers and I think Falcons are getting better. Once I get my quarterback next year, then I'll be able to hopefully catch up and match up with you. But the Derek Carr, Jamal Williams, Kalen Saunders, Nathan Shepard, Storm Knowlton, all right, those guys, that's key. right? And just with Carr there and with Jamal Williams, I mean, this is probably the most likable guy on the microphone. You know, he likes Pokemon, anime. He's just a real down-to-earth dude. You know what I mean? He's not fake whatsoever, really genuine. And on the mic, he is a star. Like, he could be on TV after his career is over, and people will watch the shit out of his show. Like, he is just a real cool dude. I mean, if he ended up wanting to do his own, like, Twitch video game channel, it would blow up, you know, just like Up, Up, Down, Down that they got for the New Day. Jamal's great. All right. And then key re-signings, MT13, Michael Thomas, Juwan Johnson, go Ducks. Obviously with Tanoa on the edge, JT Gray, and Jameis Winston is still there. So if anything happens, you know, we'll figure it out. But I really do like the signing for them. Now, key losses, right? Key losses, Marcus Davenport, right? That hurts, Amber. That hurts. Andy Dalton, who cares? David Onyemata, that one hurts a little bit. Some of these guys have been banged up and hurt, but they are good. You know, they're good players. We can't act like they're not. Shy Tuttle, no big deal. Caden Ellis, no big deal. Marquez Callaway, kind of a fan favorite. Deontay Hardy, you know, another kind of fan favorite, but it's not like they're going to be missed that much. So Carr cleans up the quarterback position over Jameis. Williams is a good replacement for Mark Ingram, right? So you got that. AK-41 going to jail, maybe not going to jail. We'll see. But if not, you know, you got Jamal Williams. He could be a RB1 if needed. Not a lot of guys can. He can do goal line work, but, you know, we'll see what happens there. A lot of cap issues, expected defensive hits that you lost in Davenport and Onyemata, right? But you did get better in value players in Carr and Williams, and just the way the roster sits now, AK-41 and all those other pieces, you should be able to, by default, with Carr, win 10 games, 10 to 13, in the next couple years, and you should be able to win the NFC South crown for at least a couple years until Tampa gets their quarterback. Now, if we fail this year, with Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask, which is essentially saying that we're tanking without actually saying we're tanking. And if we can get a top 3 pick and get Caleb Williams or, a Drake May, then we will match up with you. But for the time being, this is the Saints division. They should be able to hold it down. And then I think it'll make them emotionally more stable, because a lot of Saints fans did not know how to act this year. They don't know what it's like to be Tampa and the Saints and the Falcons, where you just suck. You know what I mean? Like, they just have so much consistency as of late. All of a sudden you have one bad year and they already are kind of moody at each other and at other fan bases. And then obviously the injuries, I know some Saints fans kind of gave up on last year, but you have to be able to be a true fan. You got to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's only going to be the way that you're going to truly appreciate the good times, like when you had with Drew. And I think some Saints fans are starting to realize that there's no room to be petty. There's no room to, talk about the past. Yeah, if you want to jaw at your own fan base or your other fan chats, it's fine. But even Saints fans get sick of Saints fans. What does that say? And sometimes you just got to move on. And I do like the direction going forward. So I think a lot of the Saints fans that were upset, edgy, that's never going to change. They're always going to be petty. Right. And they're always going to be passionate. That's just the way it's going to be. Petty and passionate towards other fan bases and towards themselves. Right. But I really do like what the Saints have been doing. And they're going to continue to get better and better. And it wouldn't surprise me if they win the NFC South crown for a few years in a row until the Panthers and Falcons get better. But I still think the Buccaneers are the second best team in the division, even with, Baker. I mean, we're trying to tank. You know what I mean? So I guess it really depends on if we're in full tank mode, then we won't be the second best team. Maybe we'll be the third or fourth, and then maybe the Falcons can win some more. And then the Panthers, but it's kind of rebuilding. I was good. Now my shit is blown up, and I'm not good anymore. And I may never be good anymore. And I'm okay with that, but I would definitely like one more good run before I die. You know what I'm saying? But we still have enough key pieces and athletic bodies to be kind of relevant. But I want my franchise QB where I can be happy of having this as my bad year and then hopefully getting Caleb Williams or Drake May, and they're my quarterback for 10. And if I can get that, I'm okay. I just don't want to reach for a veteran quarterback like the Colts have in the last few years. I don't want to, just try to get these rookie quarterbacks. We already have Trask and sat behind Brady, and we got Baker. And a lot of people would be like, what do you think about Baker? Well, obviously it's not like we signed him for a long-term deal. Essentially, it's kind of telling me that we're really trying to suck without saying it. And I'm totally okay with that because the quarterback class next year might be better than this year's. As good as Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are this year, most experts and most people that have watched football agree Caleb Williams and Drake May are better. Like Drake May is the next pocket quarterback, like the next Andrew Luck, like pocket guy. Like as a freshman, the guy looked like he was a fucking senior. I don't think I've seen shit like that in a while. And then obviously Caleb is going to be the new big thing, so he'll be able to run and throw and, do a little bit of everything. So, and hopefully none of those guys get hurt. But that's kind of how I'm feeling with the Saints. And I think that's a kind of a fair evaluation. And then we might as well just get rid of, the Buccaneers. That's not a little clean logo there, Tampa. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit. This won't take very long because obviously we know Tampa's terrible, right? Obviously with the grades, they definitely don't get anything as far as a high grade. I would give them, a C minus. Obviously Baker Mayfield is just insurance to Kyle Trask to make sure that we suck. All right, this is not to make our team better. This is essentially just grabbing a name, someone that has experience, so that way if Trask gets hurt or Baker gets hurt, they have another guy they can throw in there, okay? Chase Edmonds. Now, when Chase Edmonds was on the Dolphins and we seen him early on, right, he was actually a pretty good player. Then he got moved around and didn't have the same kind of role. Chase Edmonds is a guy that can run and catch. I do like the Chase Edmonds pickup, okay? These are the only two additions. Really what it done for us was like, this was the big one. Can we re-sign Lavonte David? He's my favorite player other than Devin White and Derek Brooks. We did re-sign him. Jamel Dean we re-signed. Aaron Stinney we re-signed. And Anthony Nelson on the edge we re-signed, okay? We lost Brady, Fournette, Donovan Smith, left tackle, who's terrible. Julio Jones, who cares? Mike Edwards, that hurt. Logan Ryan, don't care. Raheem Nunez Roches, don't care. Akeem Hicks, don't care. Cameron Brate, don't care. Sean Murphy Bunting, that one kind of hurt. So it was Mike Edwards and Murphy Bunting. Those were guys in the secondary that we would have normally kept, but losing the GOAT, it was a big part of our transition. So we don't got the Brady, and we knew this. I already knew that Fournette was gone and Smith was gone. Jones was, but I was kind of hoping Edwards and Murphy Bunting, if we could figure it out. But if I had a choice, Edwards, Murphy Bunting, both of them, or Lavonte, no, Lavonte. I need that. So to keep Jamel Dean, he was the best one out of Murphy Bunting and Edwards. So I'm glad we kept Jamel Dean, who's a nickel corner. Lavonte David, guard, Aaron Stinney. I like him. Edge, Anthony Nelson. But, we had cap issues, right? And we were able to bring back Dean and David, and that's really what I wanted in my heart. Baker has a chance to succeed in a run-heavy Seahawks-like offense with Dave Canales, given the strength of the Bucs wide receivers. So there is opportunity for him to succeed. But I'm telling you, with him and Kyle Trask, I don't want to be even if Baker had a resurgence and played like he did with early Browns or Oklahoma, like Baker's looking like a top 15 quarterback. I don't want Trask or Baker to be that. And if I was going to have that, obviously I would want Trask to be the guy. So that way I wouldn't have to worry about necessarily getting a draft pick next year. But Drake May and obviously Caleb Williams would look so good in a Tampa uniform. I want my franchise QB. I've never had one. We've had these guys that have come over, and we've had guys that, have played. Brad Johnson, Jeff Garcia, we had Brady. We've had through the, a lot of just, Chris Sims. These guys, it just did not work. And Vinny Testaverde, we had the Doug Williams, but I want to be able to draft a guy where it could have been like Josh Freeman, but it panned out. And I still got my Josh Freeman sewn white jersey to this day. Could I have burned it? Yes. Could I have, wiped my ass with it and lit it on fire like these people on the internet? Yes. But, I didn't do it. I decided to keep it and put it in the closet, and sometimes occasionally wearing it with pride to make me remember and understand not everyone is going to pan out, but at a time when your franchise sucks, sometimes you're looking for that next guy, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but it is a good conversational starter, that how many Buccaneer fans do you think really are out there that still have a Josh Freeman jersey in the closet? Not many, you know what I mean? So I primarily like defensive players more, but it always reminds me to stay humble and to keep it real and never fucking, talk shit and make lies, just for clicks and whatnot. You just want to make sure you're keeping it real. And thank God that we have Lavonte David back. So that definitely makes me feel good with everything moving forward. That is big facts. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe upside more than Dak, so. Right. And I know a lot of Florida Gator fans, but I don't know, man. You have to understand where I'm coming from. When you have certain people, like Sapp and Brooks and Lynch and Simeon Rice and Mike Allstott, and you've seen the Devin Whites and the Lavonte Davids and the Gronks and the Bradys. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? It might not be that particular guy that's going to get us there with everything, but hey, I do like that we got Lavonte and Jamel Dean kind of firmed up. So that definitely made me feel very, very good moving forward. That's big facts. All right, what do we have? We have a challenge. It's the top of the 7th, Mexico 3, Japan 0, runner on second, but they are challenging it right now. And I got plenty of other teams to kind of go over. So we ended up going over the Texans with Dalton Schultz and Devin Singletary, DJ Moore and the Bears. And then still got a few other teams on here. We did the Saints, we did the Bucks, and I got I think 3-4 other teams on here as well that we can go over that I feel, there's some interest there where I could see some of them aren't done just yet, but we can do that. I'm going to take a quick look at this challenge to see what we got. What is this challenge? If it's going to go through or not?
One-time school teacher, one-time journalist, who was a pro player himself, and a decade as the manager of the Fighters.
Now, another team I kind of like right now. The deal isn't done, as you can see in the top right, but with the Jets, I like what they've done. With the roster. Is this going to be the Jets, next QB? I mean, he's pretty much the negotiations is making it very tough, obviously with what they're trying to do there. So, but the trade is pending. You got Allen the Lizard Lazard. So at least you get your number one target that you feel the most comfortable with. Chuck Clark, obviously former Raven, love him at safety. Wes Schweitzer, and then punter Thomas Morstead. So I like the pieces. Linebacker Quincy Williams, edge Solomon Thomas, kicker Greg the Leg Zerline. Those are key re-signings. You lost Mike White, Nate Herbig, Jeff Smith, Dan Feeney, Braxton Berrios, and James Robinson. But, with Robert Saleh and everything that they had, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Elijah Moore, and then you have Lazard. It's going to be exciting to see what happens there. Oh, they called them out. Call overturned. But I do like what the Jets have done. I mean, I got to still see if they get it locked in place, for Aaron. But that's definitely another team that I felt, okay, this is a good piece moving forward. Another good team that I wanted to go over that I felt that actually improved, and they're getting closer and closer on the cusp, is going to be the Detroit Lions. If you see the Detroit Lions, you added running back David Montgomery, cornerback Cameron Sutton, cornerback Emmanuel Mosley, guard Graham Glasgow, I like him, and then safety CJ Gardner-Johnson. We already know that's a big one too. And then the re-signings, Alex Anzalone, right edge, and then John Kaminsky, running back Craig Reynolds, at D tackle Isaiah Buggs, offensive tackle Matt Nelson. You lost Jamal Williams, Deshaun Elliott, DJ Shark, Chris Board, and Evan Brown. So not a whole lot that you lost, but GM Brad Holmes did some good movement there. And they obviously wanted to do an overhaul in the pass coverage behind Okudah, and he hasn't really been able to stay healthy, right? So Okudah getting Gardner-Johnson, Sutton, Mosley from other teams, great schemes. Montgomery's more versatile than Jamal Williams since Jamal ended up leaving and going to the Saints. So with him and DeAndre Swift, that's a nice 1-2 punch. So if one of them gets hurt, you have another true RB1. Both guys are RB1s. That's very rare where you can look at the running back crew and say, I got DeAndre Swift, RB1. And then if he gets hurt, Montgomery is another RB1. So very interested to see what, kind of transpires, from this particular team with the Detroit Lions. But they're getting closer. You can tell like the Bears and the Lions are getting closer. We already saw the Vikings take that jump on the Packers, right? But the NFC North is going to start to get very interesting, especially if Aaron, can get that done, obviously, with the Jets, right? And then obviously with the Detroit Lions, with Montgomery. I definitely love that.
Some of these guys have regular 9-to-5 jobs and they're up against MLB All-Stars.
I know for a while you were probably like, oh, are we going to make some more moves? Like, what are we going to do here? But, like I said, it's kind of like, I wouldn't give you guys probably like a high A grade. You know what I mean? Probably closer to like a B plus, A minus, like, you know what I mean? But you got to look at the additions that they did get. Miles Sanders, Von Bell, who's an absolute fucking stud. He's going to change that defense for you immediately, right? You got Andy Dalton, Shai Tuttle, Hayden Hurst, Deshaun Williams, Justin McCray, Adam Thielen, a lot of names, you know what I mean? So, and then the re-signings, you got, was it Bradley Bozeman, right? And then the J.J. Jansen, right? Losses, DJ Moore, Deontay Foreman, Efline, Wilson, Damian Wilson, Sam Darnold, PJ Walker. So there's still, players that you need to be able to, replace, but with bring in Sanders, Bell, I mean, that's pretty big. You know what I mean? Adam Thielen's a little bit on the, kind of like towards the back end of his career. He can't really move as much as he could in years past. You know what I mean? But Hayden Hurst, Thielen, Sanders, you're getting some more athletic bodies out there. But the Von Bell might be the most influential player that you picked up. Offensive future with Frank Reich and Thomas Brown by securing the number 1 pick. And I'm very interested to see what you guys do. Bell and Tuttle, they plugged the 2 defensive holes that you needed. And then obviously by losing more, you're getting some other pieces. You're going to be looking at a wide receiver in the draft at some point as well. So. Zach in the building. What to do? Mexico 3, Japan 0, as I look on the screen here. Bottom of the 7th. Yeah, I would say that no one is really talking about Pittsburgh that much. And they definitely had one of the better, I think, grades. Probably an A minus, I think I would give them. Patrick Peterson, Isaac Samalo, linebacker Cole Holcomb, guard Nate Herbig, linebacker Landon Roberts, and then Ogunjobi, right? That was a key re-sign. Ogunjobi was a key re-sign. Casey, DeMonte Casey. Got to have him re-sign. You got that done too. So you didn't really lose a whole lot. Cameron Sutton, Miles Jack, he's here, he's there. It's all right. William Jackson, Devin Bush, you got some key losses. There's some key losses there, right? But I think we got to see what's going to happen, in the draft itself. But I think upgraded nicely with Peterson and Holcomb now being part of the defense. And I think the Ogunjobi was very underrated. That might have been the best thing that you did, obviously, in the offseason. Offensive line upgrade. Obviously, we know Pittsburgh's offensive line stinks, right? You had Najee Harris, the rookie season, and then you saw like really struggling. And Najee's good enough to be a boss by himself, but having a better offensive line is just going to make everyone look better, including Najee Harris, the quarterback, Pickett, everyone. So I would say, taking in a tackle, early in the draft for Pittsburgh is essential. Minimal losses. There's the opportunity to grow. The competition in the division is going to be fierce, obviously with Cincinnati being kind of the new powerhouse. And you probably have to, I would assume, hope that Lamar leaves, the division. So it'll be a little bit more structure and a little bit more catch up for you. Obviously we have to kind of see where he's going to go or if he's not going to play or sit out. I mean, I was thinking about like places where Lamar would be like a really good fit, like a fantasy scenario. Not that it would happen, but if the Colts traded their first round pick and some compensation and got Lamar, that's going to be better than any other quarterback that's not named CJ or Bryce And I would rather have you guys do something like that than just settle with, the other two with Richardson or with Levis. With Lamar on the Colts it would take you from being, to being one of the top dogs over there and giving you, and obviously I think the best fit for Lamar is San Francisco. If Lamar goes to San Francisco, they can win a Super Bowl. That would be the guy that the missing link, for San Francisco to have a quarterback that has top 10 talent. And if you get Lamar and San Fran, you're winning a Super Bowl. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's the type of quarterback San Fran needs to compete with everyone in the NFC. A lot of the NFC quarterbacks are terrible now. The AFC's got all the Hall of Fame quarterbacks up there, but yeah, I mean, I did the breakdowns and, tried to be able to think of, those pieces, but the Peterson, Alo, that's a good upgrade for Isaac at guard. I like that. But really the Ogunjobi for me, and I have to think about, okay, what it would look like with him wearing the uniform. San Fran with all the pieces they have, that would essentially, but if that would happen, right? If something like that would happen, then, like a Trey Lance. Now, if a Trey Lance ended up going to like Baltimore in the deal, I mean, essentially you're getting another kind of Lamar type of player, so, but it all depends on where players would go. Obviously, San Fran's a more natural fit than the Colts, but just where the Colts are, and they are looking for a quarterback, and most people feel they are going to draft one, which I think would be a big mistake. I wouldn't draft a quarterback at that position in the first round. I would pick the best available player or trade back. If you're going to go with a player, go with Minshew then. Don't get a quarterback. You know what I mean? Because you're going to waste that pick if you pick Richardson or Levis. I would definitely just go with Minshew and then, figure out another quarterback later in the draft, but get the best possible. Like if Anderson is sitting there, you're going to go with the quarterback with Levis or Richardson, and then Anderson turns into the next Hall of Fame player. I don't know. If it's me, I'm going to be going for the best available talent that's available there, but you never know. Zach is like, this guy knows. Yeah, I can't wait to see Jeremy Chin. That's one of my favorite players to keep eye on the defense for you guys, for sure. Yeah, but if you're a Steeler fan, you can't make excuses. It's like when you're good, you're good. When you're bad, you're bad. When something needs fucking improvement and other people from other fan bases can see it, that it just needs to be firmed up. You know what I mean? It's just not good enough yet, but hopefully you guys are getting there. So, right. That's why I think San Fran would be the best place for him. Right. That's going to be the best spot for him, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, then if it doesn't work out with Minshew or Hooker, maybe you'll be in position for Caleb or Drake May next year. The Colts and the Buccaneers deserve the best. We need our franchise QB where we can be like, we're proud of who we have. Like when you had Andrew Luck and that pride that you had, when you had Peyton, that pride, that's what needs to happen. Not these others. Fuck settling for the others. Wait. And then, wait for that right, the person to pop up. I think I would rather have that for you guys. Hooker later, but just try to get the best available talent. Because if you end up wasting a pick on the quarterback and he sucks and you miss out on a Hall of Fame player where all you had to do is pick the best player, but you just wanted to have another quarterback to compete with Minshew, that could set the franchise back a couple of years. That's just my thinking of it, Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm definitely excited to see what they decide to do. I'll do obviously breakdowns through, every single team. And it also depends on how much football you're actually watching. You have to be able to put in a lot of time. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yes, let's get to 100 in donos. And then, like I said, we'll hopefully get some more people to kind of come through. And again, I have information for every single team, for every fan base. So we might not get into every single thing, but yeah, we'll definitely go over. We can go over the Colts too. Obviously, yeah, absolutely. I still have a couple more teams to go through, but we went through most of them already. So obviously, with my number one squad, right, overall, is obviously going to be the Houston Texans. Number two is definitely going to be the Chicago Bears, and then I have a few, that I like. They're not necessarily in any order after, but obviously you heard me talk a little bit about the Lions. Love the streamlined logo; looks so good. And the Jets, but the deal isn't done yet. The deal ain't done yet. So it's like once the Aaron thing goes through, and maybe they'll add another piece once it's done. So, but the Lazard thing is, very captivating because that's Aaron's favorite. That was his favorite target. So, but him saying, I only want to go there is pretty much saying, I don't want you to get compensation. And that's why the deal hasn't got done. And the Jets should not give up that first round pick, because that needs to be an offensive lineman 100% to get back on track. And then let's go real quickly. I already did the Saints, right? And we went over my Buccaneers, on what was going on. But I had two really quick that I want to get in, and we'll get into your Colts and stuff. So the next one that I wanted to go over was the Cincinnati Bengals. So with the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, this isn't going to be a long, long conversation, right? Orlando Brown Jr. was big. Being his own agent, I believe, and trying to negotiate. I think he got more money offered last year if he would have took the big deal, but then wanted to kind of bet on himself. And then now is trying to maybe do the double dip, going from the Chiefs Super Bowl to the Bengals Super Bowl, right? But this is big. And then also guard Cody Ford, safety Nick Scott, re-signing safety Michael Thomas, Jermaine Pratt, linebacker, wide receiver Trent Taylor, running back Travion Williams. Losses, Jesse Bates III, that hurts. Von Bell, that hurts. Samaje Perine, that hurts. Hayden Hurst, that hurts. Eli Apple, who cares? Oh! It's tied. Japan just tied, baby. Wow. Do it for the homeland. Woo! Masahataka Hoshida, 3-run homer for the homeland, for Japan, baby. 3-3 in the bottom of the seventh. Let's go. Are you kidding me? Woo! My cousins are happy. Let's go, baby.
Yoshida, a 3-run home run, and it's tied at 3 in the 7th. Threw him another changeup, and he dropped the barrel of bat on the inside part of the plate. And I'm telling you, that is an unbelievable home run on a pitch you just wouldn't think that result would be possible.
And they also had bases loaded before, and they were not able to convert. And then Shohei Ohtani would have been the next one up. Oh, Japan, represent the homeland. I thought Mexico was going to kind of run away with this, but I knew, obviously, I don't know if you guys saw the pitcher earlier today, but the guy was throwing 19 out of 20 over 100. He's going to, I believe he's going to be, he's on the MLB radar. Everyone's on him. So it's very cool to be able to see, these players that not only are going to be able to make it, but they are going to be able to be a significant part on what's going on. Let's go. I mean, I don't know if Japan's going to end up winning, but got to represent. So we went there and went with Cincinnati Bengals as I got interrupted with that amazing 3-run homer, right? But this is big. This is really, really big. So you did lose some key pieces, right? And they had to be calculated to be able to keep around with Burrow and Higgins. They're going to have big contracts. So, I don't think they were really expecting, to get someone like Orlando Brown, right? But that definitely helps offset losing Bates and Bell. But that is going to make the back end of their secondary much worse. So they're going to have to figure that out in the draft. And it's not going to be easy because obviously Von Bell and Jesse Bates III were a big part of Cincinnati's success. But at least they're going to be able to run heavy. And they're going to be able to pass better with an Orlando Brown there. So I do like that move. That was a significant move for the Cincinnati Bengals. And another one, the Atlanta Falcons. I know we don't really talk about Atlanta, and Shep's not even in the room, which is kind of a shame, right? but I actually like what the Falcons have done. Key additions: Jesse Bates III, D tackle from the Saints, David Onyemata, linebacker Caden Ellis, quarterback Taylor Heineke. I like that move. Heineke from Heineke compete. He can compete, with the rookie Desmond Ritter, right? Who's going to be in his second year. Tight end Jonnu Smith. I like. Linebacker Tay Davis. Wide receiver Matt Collins. Okay. Re-signings Chris Lindstrom, Kayla McGrary, edge Lorenzo Carter, punter Bradley Pinion. I like that. Keith Smith at fullback. Guard tackle Max Sharping. I like it. They only lost Isaiah Oliver, the corner. Who cares? Marcus Mariota, who went to the Eagles, which is a good move for them, the Eagles. And the edge, Abdullah Anderson. No big deal. They upgraded their defense for the new coordinator. I like what they did there.
Start training in here. Introducing with reality. Game speed pitches anywhere, anytime. Hands in sync with eyes. Confidence in sync with your progress. Be ready for real. Win reality.
AG1 is so much more than a great spot. In one simple scoop, it delivers daily multivitamins, greater probiotics, stress adaptogens, and yes, greens. Start your journey at athleticgreens.com.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer. Wait, this is a light beer? Well, we should really tell people about. Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Remember, you can save hundreds for safe driving with Liberty Mutual. You customize your
Sorry, I got distracted. I have to figure out some food stuff here. But the Jesse Bates thing here, I really do like this. And, with everything that they ended up bringing, to this organization, Ryan Nielsen, the, D coordinator, they got to figure it out. They got to figure out the coordination out there. It's a Saints-like scheme. So we'll see, obviously, what happens there. Thank you. But getting Bates was big, right? Onyemata and Ellis straight from Nolans. That's big. And then obviously with Ritter, it's a contingency plan. Mariota left. So now it's Heineke and Ritter. And if it doesn't work out with Ritter, you can end up going with Heineke. And I think Heineke was the better quarterback when he was there anyways. So, it definitely gives them, some key pieces there. So those are kind of the main seven that I wanted to go over, but we can go over the Colts here too.
Urias for Mexico, Yoshida for Japan, tied at 3 to the 8th inning here in the semifinals. 9-1-2 for Mexico. It's Austin Barnes to lead off. Yamamoto on in relief of Sasaki. 4th inning of work for him. And yet to give up a hit. He's walked a couple. But allowed his offense time to get back into this game.
3-3 Mexico and Japan, top of the 8th. Awesome game. I'm a little jealous.
Barnes takes strike 2. Went around. Boy, Yamamoto makes quick work of Barnes for the first out of the 8th. Number 4 for him. Tied him up. Fastball left the barrel. Could not stop us. Oh, back to the top now, Randy Rosarena. He said, all right, I'm fine with your home run, Yoshida, because it sets up a dramatic situation, which I like a little bit.
Randy's a stud. All right, I'm trying to find a nice Colt transparent if I can.
Texas right. Big hit after big hit, big catch after big catch. Swats a line drive to right. Kondo started on. Now goes back as
Oh, Randy Rosarena.
Cold-blooded killer strikes again. Ball jumps off his bat. That ball was hit the opposite way. Split finger that just came back. The right fielder had no chance to get to this. So the first hit for Team Mexico since Urias' home run back in the 4th inning.
I'm looking.
It's Alex Verdugo to the plate with a chance to put Mexico right back in front. Verdugo had a key hit during the late rally on Friday night. The hits in this tournament have been few and far between for Verdugo, but he's had some big ones. Looking for another here. Yamamoto comes home. Verdugo in the left center.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Mexico back up front.
Verdugo snaps at second with the go-ahead double.
I'm trying to find one that's like streamlined, but all the ones that I want, they're not what I want. They're not what I want.
You feel the booth shaking? Yes, the booth is shaking. This is a great piece of hitting right here. His manager thought he was having a lot of good at bat, but not a lot of results to show for it. But guess what? That right there makes up for all of the hits he hasn't gotten so far. And it's so on character for this Mexico team to respond like that. The tournament full of moments, some within games, some within the whole tournament, where they respond quickly. Then they lost their first game of the tournament to what wound up being the last place team in the pool in Colombia. They haven't lost since then. They've erased deficit after deficit. And here, after Japan pulls the rug out from under them, ties the game.
4-3 Mexico. Oof.
A pitch runner for Verdugo. It's his Red Sox teammate, Jaron Duran. Meneses now. Meneses down the line.
Oh, Meneses. Yeah, but obviously with the Colts, I would say kind of like the Buccaneers, there's just so much more that has been left to be like, we need more. There's some moves that were done. You guys have made more moves than us. We've only had 2, but I still would probably give it a C grade. I think most Colts fans would agree. There's definitely something kind of, it's not like a horrible taste in your mouth because you did get rid of some of the pieces that needed to be gone. Matt Ryan, right? But at the edge, Samson, Ebukabon. I like that. Minshew like that. Matt Gay, I like that. The Taven Bryan, I like that. So the key additions, I like actually all 4 of those. And then the re-signings of Tyquan Lewis and then Speed, Doolin, I like those. They're just kind of low key, nothing big. But to get rid of Matt Ryan, Okereke, someone that you wanted to keep. Paris Campbell would have been nice to have around. Gilmore, you knew would more likely be gone. And then Fashion, not a big of a deal for Brandon at corner. So, for Ballard and Steichen, I think they're going to be saving their best for the draft. So, for Ebukam and Gay, they were good gets, but they're the Okereke, Campbell, those ones are kind of tough. But getting rid of Matt Ryan, is the number one priority. And again, if they may be able to pick a quarterback early, but I really feel it would be in their best interest. Are you going to go Gardner Minshew starting? Oh. Or are you going to be trying to start Richardson or Levis? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I think Minshew is better than both of them now, right? So I would definitely go Minshew and then just pick the best possible talent and then wait to grab another quarterback like a Hooker later. So that way, if you can end up getting like an Anderson, it just falls into your lap. take that. You don't want to be able to not pass up on maybe the next Micah Parsons and some other team grabs him when you could have. And then you get a quarterback that just was a bust, that doesn't pan out. Because, are we really for sure sold that Richardson and Levis are going to pan out? Their project QBs. And I think right now he will be better than both of those guys. If you're going for Bryce or CJ, because that's the, number 1, number 2 pick, I get it. But at this point, I think Minshew is better than those other two. And I would just get the best possible player and then wait for another. I think it would be a big error for Indianapolis to pick quarterback after 2 go off the board, and trying to settle for the 3rd or 4th best QB. I wouldn't do it. So that's just my personal opinion. If I want, them to get better and move forward. So, and hopefully I'll be able to find a Colts streamline logo that actually fits, but I just wasn't able to find one. A lot of them weren't working for whatever reason. Yeah, the Paris part ain't going to hurt you that much. But the Okereke, that was the one that he has talent. You know what I mean? So you'll just have to find another guy in the draft. But it's not like, oh, my God, or, what are we going to do? So at least you got rid of Matt Ryan. That psychologically getting Matt Ryan out of the building is going to make everything better. But also, settling for the 3rd or 4th quarterback when all offseason we talked about CJ and Bryce. We can't do that, and that's why not picking a Richardson or Levis now could lead to getting a Drake May or Caleb Williams next year. You make the choice. Wouldn't you rather have a better feeling, moving forward if you could add Caleb or Drake May next year, or someone else, Michael Penix Jr., someone like that, rather than settling for this Levis and Richardson? I think the guys next year are more intriguing than those two, So, if it's not CJ or Bryce, it's a no-go. That for me, for those other two. And then get another one like a hooker later. Get the best possible offensive lineman or defensive player that you can get. That's me. I think that would be the best bet for the Colts franchise, but who knows what they will do. Yes, he used to be, huh? Did you like him when he was there? He's a boss, dude. But yeah, like I said, just like with there's quite a few teams that I give like C grades, and that doesn't mean that we're terrible. You know what I mean? It's just that we either lost a lot and then we just didn't do as much as other teams. In free agency, some of these other teams in free agency, like look at what the Texans did. It's just it's unbelievable. What they're doing right now. So. And as we get more people coming in, if they want to comment on their teams, again, I have info and everything that I broke down for all the teams. But those were the main ones that I wanted to go over that I thought were worth talking about. Houston at 1, Chicago at 2, right? And then a number of teams that I liked what they did. Detroit, the Jets, the Bengals, the Falcons, right? And then I liked what the Saints did. And then obviously, teams that sucked ass. Oh, hey, look, it's Tampa, but at least, that we're trying to tank without saying that we're trying to tank, Baker may have some good times. Kyle Trask may as well. But if this is going to be me rooting for the team, I just can't see myself rooting for Baker or Kyle Trask long-term. Now I hope Kyle is a part of the team, but I just don't know. I want him to be able to compete, whoever it may be. If it's Drake May and Kyle Trask, fuck it. But I want to be able to get that best possible person. I do like the Chase Edmonds pickup and whatnot, but Jamel Dean, Levante David, Stinney, Nelson, I like that. We kept those guys around, but losing Brady, Fournette, Smith, Jones, Edwards, Logan, Nunez, Roches, Hicks, Cameron Brate, Sean Murphy, Bunting. That's a lot of losses. We're not going to be a good team. So we're going to have some good players that will make plays, but I really hope that we win 3 to 7 games. So that way I'm in position for Drake May or for Caleb. So that's facts. Tampa logo looks nice. See how streamlined that looks? Saints, nice and streamlined. Looks good. Yeah, I tried finding them for every logo like this, but every team, they don't do it. Some format, some don't. And I was like, damn, it just doesn't look as good when it has the square or circle borderline outside of it. It looks so much better like this. Just little subtle things like this I try to do, like just to try to make it look better for not only you guys, but for me too. So. You did him a solid. There we go. But yeah, these are the two teams that I've been the most impressed with, though, with what they've done. They're on the up and up. They're bad teams, but I'm very excited to see where they're going. As the Texans and the Bears. I hate seeing teams just continue to be shitty forever too. So it's just nice to be able to see some progression and growth. And as we get more people hopping in, then we'll go from there. And then hopefully we can get a little dono train going. I definitely got a lot of things on the plate, and hopefully we can get that going too. All it takes is one, and then hopefully one will lead to another, and then we can get there. And normally I start around 7 p.m., but I figured I'd start a little earlier to think that maybe more people would show up, but apparently not. So, I guess it just depends, I want to grow. I don't want to go backwards, but, I can't control what people do or where people are. So, but I figured we haven't really done anything NFL in a while. So I figured we'd get more people coming through, and I'll continue to do some more NFL, as we move forward as well. I know a lot of people like to talk on it, but sometimes it's just there's not a lot to talk about. There's free agency stuff, but I'm not sure if there's enough material to talk 3-4 hours every day. It's going to be a lot of the same things repeated. Oh, he broke the bat. Rowdy Tellez, Mexico 4, Japan 3. Reflect in the building. How are you? We've missed you. How are you doing, man? Yeah, I've just been going over some of my sensational 7 and just a few teams, including my own, that I think that have kind of did a shitty job in free agency, and just watching Mexico and Japan, and whoever wins plays USA tomorrow, and that'll be what we do for tomorrow in the stream. And throughout the week, I will give kind of my breakdowns. And so I guess it just depends. I can do a poll where we talk NFL or we do an event. And I know if I do an event, we're going to get more views and possible subs and whatnot. But I guess it just depends on who shows up and what kind of support and donos and overall how many people show up. So my take on the Seahawks right now, do you want me to go over as far as free agency and the grade that I would give them overall? I can give you kind of my breakdown on Seattle. Like I said, this took a little while, and I was sick. I had the stomach bug. So I'm not sure when the last time you were here, but I've been gone for about a week, and I was really, really bad. And I just started getting back streaming on Saturday, but I had I got a stomach bug last Monday, and then I was really sick, for maybe a couple hours. Tuesday I felt better. It came back Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday was hell. It was I think the worst day of my life. I think I made threw up and probably made 7 to 10 bathroom visits an hour for about 10 hours straight. And it was like knives going into my stomach. It was just terrible. Norovirus or stomach bug, so Pepto or any type of Dayquil, NyQuil, that shit doesn't work. You just have to let it get it out of your system. And it was just, you can't eat, you're nauseous. It was just terrible. And then I finally started feeling better, but sluggish, Friday night. And then I was like, all right, Saturday morning, it was a beautiful day. And then I started really feeling like myself again. And then yesterday we did a really long stream. Meneses, did he get him? Got him. Still 5-3 Mexico up on Japan. Yeah. So, and then obviously, we've had some challenging times, obviously, these last 3 months, and then me missing a week, it didn't really help with everything, with me trying to be able to earn a living and whatnot. So, so I definitely am trying to grind it out here for the last part of this month and trying to get back on track. And plus I have that trip, the next month, which I don't know how I'm going to afford unless things start picking up, but going to Seattle where we're going to go see the Cardinals for 2 games, and we have a nice hotel. And so I don't really want to necessarily cancel that hotel and get a downgrade, but we'll wait and see. But as far as Seattle is concerned, let me see if I can get a Seattle logo here before we start talking Seattle. But I hope that you've been well. Seattle Seahawks. Let's see. Let me see if I can find. I hope I can find one that I like.
Those bladder leaks dropped in uninvited. But instead of period pads, she brought Poise Ultra Thin. So she can bounce on with Poise protection and a fresh new look.
I'm going to give you his resume.
Your mom has made it her job to find you any job.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do.
When your resume is on Indeed, you get matched with jobs that fit your requirements.
Where do you get your persistence from?
Saturdays, baseball's best are showing out on Fox. This is what MVPs are VIPs. And what aces always come in pairs. Saturday means it's showtime for Shohei and meal time for Manny. All the swag, all the sauce.
Okay, let's see if this one will format.
The biggest games on the best day of the week. Watch Saturday baseball returns April 1st.
Some of them are fickle.
What if we told you that this year you could travel the world in just 9 innings? Quick question. What's the deal with the World Baseball Classic?
I wanted it to be better than that. I wanted it to actually be streamlined. Still looking. Hold up. Oh, here we go. I found the one I wanted. There we go. Sometimes you got to look and see. That's you got to find them when they're streamlined. All right, here we go. I got to do Seattle proper. Here we go. And this one's cool because it kind of looks like a poker chip. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. Just so much better instead of it having like another border on the outside. You just want to have things that looks, streamlined. So
Great for a reason. So they're not phased by much. They were able to respond. Now can they respond again?
yeah, and I didn't get COVID at all. When everyone got COVID, I was one of those. I never got it. I never. I'm always washing hands and mask and very good like that. And then obviously it was from my girlfriend's daughter. And then kids going to school and whatnot. And then they had like a sleepover. One of them got it, then gave it to the girlfriend's daughter, and then I ended up. And I haven't gotten sick. I can't even tell you. It's probably been a couple years as well, like 2-3 years. As well until that. But oh my God, I mean, I haven't been that sick in like 20 years besides another time when I had something similar. But about 5 years ago, I got food poisoning to the extreme where I was throwing up and in the restroom for like 10 hours, 12 hours straight until I got out of my system, eating at like some popcorn chicken Fred Meyer's that was obviously undercooked and made me extremely sick. And I haven't went back there since. So. Well, I'm glad that you're doing better too. Oh, wow. 58 points. Dang. All right. So for the Seahawks, I would give them, as far as a grade, a solid B+. I figure out of all the teams in the league, I think half of them have done a little bit better, but I think half have done worse. So, you got the Draymond Jones, the D tackle, the Jaron Reed, right? Julian Love, Evan Brown, Devin Bush. So, I mean, a lot of these aren't really like big names, but they're just kind of filling seeds, filling little places where things need to be done. The key re-signing, as we know, is Geno. You got Drew Lock as well, but the Geno there essentially puts you in as a contender with the Niners for the NFC West. And, probably you're going to be shooting for 10 wins or more. 10 to 12 wins is what you're going to be shooting for. You lost Rashad Penny. You lost Shelby Harris. Cody Barton, Quentin Jefferson, Gabe Jackson, Travis Homer. Not a big deal. Obviously with some of those guys, you'll have others that you'll be able to fill in. You had to do some cap work under Schneider, but being able to get Geno Smith back, that was the number one thing. So obviously you would have liked to have some bigger names, but the Draymond Jones, the Reed, the Love, the Brown, I mean, it's not going to be like big, significant, oh my God, right? But like at least holding your own and filling the spot, and then excited to see what happens in the draft if you trade back and accumulate picks. And instead of just having one guy, maybe you'll get 2 first-rounders. And if those guys pan out, then, it'll take you guys further along instead of getting second place in the division. If you guys hit in this draft, you might be able to compete for winning the crown. like the NFC West crown. Like we already know the Niners are going to be good with everything that they have, but adding 3 or 4 more solid pieces in the draft like you did last year. Like imagine if you add 3 or 4 more pieces and those turn into starters on top of getting 4 starters last year with Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, Kenneth Walker III, and Tariq Woolen. And if you can repeat that success this year with Geno there already, it's looking pretty nice. It's looking pretty good. So I would say the names that you lost are for more people. They recognize Shelby Harris. They recognize Penny and Homer. But as we know, Penny always gets hurt. Homer is, 3rd, 4th string. It's okay. That's not a big deal. None of the guys that are gone are a big deal with what you currently have in place and that you will replace, replenish, and draft. So I actually like what you guys have done on the low-key side. Could it have been better? Of course. You know what I mean? It definitely could have been better, but you had to maneuver the cap. And instead of just sitting there and doing nothing, at least you did sign guys. So that shows me that you are trying to compete. You are trying to catch up to the Niners. So a good draft this year and next year could catapult you guys to the NFC West crown. But also depends on Geno's health and then also you're going to have to look for a post-Geno, type of thing, but at least you won't have to worry about that for 2 years. The 3rd year, that'll probably be the year where you're going to be moving on anyways. And he won't be your quarterback at that point, unless you are making huge strides where you're going to NFC championship game in Geno's 2nd year. Then maybe he'll be the guy the 3rd year. But if that doesn't happen, then you're going to be looking for that replacement sooner than later anyways. Mexico 5, Japan 3. We're in the bottom of the 8th. And I just been kind of going over some of the teams that I thought that did very, very well and, had some breakdowns. I did every single team, but thought the Texans are number 1, especially with what they've done, even today, trying to be able to lock up the best number 1 free agent that was left, out of the list. This was it. And then you ended up getting Singletary as well. Many, many solid pieces. And on top of everything that they did, they got picked 2 and 12. They are set up the best besides the, Chicago Bears. So I definitely really like, what they decided to do there for the Houston Texans. Pretty exciting. So I go Texans 1, Bears 2, and then some of these other teams I really like what they did. Bengals, Jets once Aaron Rodgers, and obviously Lazard is already there. I like Detroit. And then Atlanta, I like what they did there. I did like what the Saints did with Carr and obviously with Jamal Williams. And Tampa's, that's terrible. It's like a C-. It's you almost are tanking without saying that you're openly tanking, but we've only made 2 moves, right? And then obviously with Baker, it's just to be able to be with him and Kyle Trask, 1-year deal. And then I do like the Chase Edmonds pickup though. So, but the main thing for us was, getting Levante David to come back with Jamel Dean, and we were able to make that happen. So that makes me happy as a fan.
Watch how well that's a great jump, and now the third baseman doesn't get back. They got to play it first.
Free agency. It's crazy stuff.
Good tie this game back up. And with a 9-hitter coming up, they set up a pinch hitter.
All right, Mexico 5, Japan 3. We got runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. And the winner of this game plays winner of this game ends up playing USA tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing that game tomorrow. I hope it's not on at like 4. Hopefully it's on at like 5 or 6. Let me see. Championship. It's on at 4. Oh, so hopefully I might be slightly late on that one then and stuff. I'll try to be able to do that unless she can get off work earlier or whatnot. That sucks because she gets off at 4. So we'll see. It'll be like 4:30 maybe. 5-4 game. At least Japan is fighting. And either team is going to put on a battle, and Japan and Mexico's pitching is better than U.S. So I think either one could beat the U.S. I mean, we have better hitters, but they got better pitchers, and obviously Ohtani's on Japan, and Mexico has got some bosses themselves. So Oh, sorry to hear that, Jameson.
For Ohtani to have a crack at it.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Another change here.
Prayers up.
Seagal's second visit to the inning, so he's gotta make it.
Yeah, life is very, very fragile, man. Like I said, you got to be able to, maximize every single day, and just try to be a better person than you were the day before, and making sure that you reach out to people. Sometimes people are introverts and extroverts. Some people like to be out all the time, but a lot of us are just homebodies. There's going to be times where you go do things, but it doesn't take a lot of effort to how are you, just checking up on you, whether it's like on Facebook Messenger or whatever, Twitter, Instagram, whatever platform that you're communicating on. And sometimes we lose thoughts of what's important because we get so bottled up with what we think is important in life. And we just definitely got to be able to try to reach out to people a little bit more. The ones that are deserving of it, of course. Not everyone is worth our time. That's facts. So that sucks that the game is on at 4 tomorrow. I was really hoping it would be on later for the championship, but I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. And then we'll see if the girlfriend will get off work a little bit early. Maybe she'll be done before 4. So if I prep everything maybe tonight, then maybe I'll just have to like hit a couple buttons and I'll be ready to go. And then I can do that. But other than that, just, been sick, feel better. Going over, kind of a breakdown of each team and the grades so far. But the number one thing that everyone needs to also remember is you never want to build a team through free agency. You want to build it through the draft. It's all nice and dandy. I can give an A+ grade to the Bears and the Texans, but essentially, these guys need to stay healthy and it needs to pan out, long-term, short-term, depending on the deal. But I can just, do based on my evaluation on how I think it's going to turn out. Not only in the initial grade right now, but if it will pan out, moving down the road. And some of the deals are only 1 year. So it's like you might have Dalton Schultz for a year and then he might be, who knows where he'll be, And then obviously with Singletary, another name. But I really like what the Texans have been doing. And to me, that was the team that, definitely won free agency by far, the Texans and then the Bears. Those were the two by far. No other team is even close to those two. And then on top of everything with the Texans and what they did, they got picked 2 and 12. So I can only imagine, having Bryce or CJ and then getting some amazing piece at 12 or trading back and maybe getting 2 more first-round picks instead of just 1. And then imagine if the Texans hit on all 3 of those picks, a quarterback, maybe an offensive lineman and a stud defensive player. It could be big. It could be a big turnaround for Houston where with DeMeco Ryans, like, maybe, maybe they try to shoot for like 9 wins, which is like aggressive. And maybe they don't get 9 wins with Bryce or CJ and this team. But what if they get closer to that number than you think? I mean, there could be injuries. The AFC South, we don't really know about the Colts, or the Titans. We knew the Jags are there now. And Houston could be that kind of like the Jags of last year. Not as good as the Jags, not as far as the Jags, because they're the worst team in, fucking football. Right, with Houston, but like you can kind of see it. And I always want Houston to be good, the Jags to be good, the Lions to be good, the Jets to be good. I don't want to see shitty teams be shitty forever, but definitely, what Houston was able to accomplish. And if you look at what they did, I was going to have the Bears at 1, but I can't. All right, because with what you got done even today, all right, Houston, they're like, oh, we're busy. We got Dalton Schultz. Oh, okay. And Singletary. Okay. Sheldon Rankins, Jimmy Ward, Robert Woods, Mike Boone, Noah Brown, Case Keenum, Andrew Beck, Chase Winovich, Hassan Ridgeway, and Shaq Mason. They're fucking working. And they got 2 and 12 in the first round. Fuck me. I mean, that's insane. And DeMeco Ryans. That's exciting if I'm a Texan fan. You got more excitement in the Texans than in the Cowboys. I'll tell you that. You already know what's going to happen with Dallas every year, right? But with Houston, with DeMeco Ryans, you're starting to see like there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. And then once they get the Bryce, CJ, butts will be in the seats and everyone's eyes are going to be on this team. instead of being like, I don't want to watch the fucking Texans. And then people are going to be like, yes, for fantasy purposes and in general, like rookie, like we want to, and Bryce and CJ are going to be linked forever. So we're going to be watching those two guys' careers neck and neck. And chances are we're going to have one of them on this team and the other hopefully will be on Carolina. Now, the only thing that could really benefit, I feel right now, the Colts is that if the Panthers are crazy and they pick Richardson at 1, and then, CJ goes 2 or Bryce Young, and then CJ falls into the Colts' lap, at that point. But if something weird like that happens, someone is going to have to trade up, to 3 more than likely. Because, it's all about value, at that point. So thank you guys. We got a couple donos. We went an hour and a half with no donos at all. But I just knew that once we had the right people in the room, and I love talking NFL, and I just knew it at the right time, right people will show up. And I did a lot of work. Like I said, this took me about a week to put together, not last week, because obviously I was sick last week and I was going to do this last week as it was breaking, down day by day. So I had to kind of reconfigure my schedule. And then when I was feeling good on Saturday, I told Sarah I was thinking about doing the show like early, like at 10 a.m. or noon. But I was like, no, I'm already doing another event later in the day, like World Baseball Classic. And then yesterday killed me. We did like 8-9 hours straight. I normally have a break in between. After doing NASCAR and WBC, I have not been that exhausted in a long time. So, and then I decided we can dedicate a whole show to it. I have all 32 teams. I have all the breakdowns. I have all the grades, and these are my grades. And then I know we're not going to get into every single team, but then I can continue doing this, topic throughout the week. And if we end up doing it again and other people want to ask, I can kind of give the breakdown there. So appreciate you guys. I'm just scrolling down, making sure I get to the comments here. Yeah, life is very harsh. Yes, absolutely. Megan with a 20 said, hey, fam, loving the move. Seattle making free agency. Draymond Jones for the win. Gino for the win. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And things have been very, very tight. So it really means a lot. And I actually went over Seattle just a second ago, and I can actually go over my opinion with that with you guys. So I can end up doing that. Like this little poker chip I got for you. $20 holla. Appreciate you. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Thank you so much. $20 holla. We'll go over that here in a second. And Reflect is a Seahawk fan as well. So he went over that question too. And I went over that. Thank you so much, Reflect. Your guys' generosity means a lot. Some people will never do this for me. And you guys continue to support. And it really does mean a lot. I want to continue to do this full time. And, the support that I get from you guys is unmatched. Thank you so much. I appreciate you more than words can say. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Reflect. Always coming in when he has time and showing mad love. It means a lot. Thank you. One dono leads to another, Thank you, Reflect. Let's go over your Titans too. I'm going to go over the Seahawks and real quick for because I don't know if she was listening, Megan, when I ended up doing it earlier, but I have my sensational 7, and then I went over my own crap team. We'll go over a grade with you, and I'll go over that. We'll do the Titans as well, and I'll do it for most of you guys at this time. So yeah, I'm going to redo it over. I'm going to do it for you now, even though I just did it about 5-10 minutes ago, because Reflect just came in and asked, and I went over I'll kind of give you my honest opinion on everything. So Sarah with $1, appreciate you. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. $41. Let's get to a hundo. We can do that. We got plenty of time. All right. So as far as Seattle is concerned, what's up? Oh my God. Hold on. Paisley, I think, got out.
Get 0.9 for 60 plus 3,000 low APR cash on the 2022 F-150 XLT only at your local Ford dealer.
ninth inning, Taisei Ota on the pitch for Japan. 5-4. They got a run back last inning. Left the tying and go-ahead runs aboard. Now Taisei's going to try and keep it right here because they've got Otani leading off the bottom of the ninth.
You know, Mexico would love to add an extra run if they could. It's been a whale of a baseball game.
And the 3-run shot from this guy who's coming up here, Luis Arias.
All right, Paisley got out, but we got her.
First 6 innings of
The door, I guess the door flew open or whatever through the wind because it wasn't latched, and she pushed her nose up against it and started running around. Now she's just crazy out there. Oh, thank God. That would have been bad. That's only happened one other time. That would have not been good. All right, let's get this prepped, and we'll go over all your guys' teams in here.
Takuma Nakano is now in the game at second. And the third catcher of the game, Takumi Oshiro.
Give me a heart attack.
One gone at the top of the ninth, Alan Trejo. Fly ball, shallow left field. Long way to run, and an over the shoulder grab made by Genda.
I like that Japan's putting on a fight here.
Sosuke Genda, who had the sacrifice spot last inning, is mostly known for his defense, and you see why right there.
Yeah, that's a great play. Anytime you're running towards your left fielder, you got to be pretty sure you're going to get this so that there's no collision.
At least Paisley knew to stay close to home.
Golden Gloves in Japan.
Paisley, oh my gosh.
It is 2 outs. Otani, Yoshida.
All right, so with the Seattle Seahawks, and like I said, I'm going to break down every single person's team. This definitely took a lot of effort. Obviously there's going to be people that have their own opinions, but to be able to, look at the names, the additions, the re-signings, the losses, watch a little film, compare, list to another list, and then do my own evaluation and my own grades. I actually think that Seattle, to me, didn't do the best, right? But they didn't do the worst. They're kind of like in the middle of what they did. They've made a lot of moves compared to all the other teams. They've made comparable moves to the some of the most, like Houston. They've made a lot of moves. They're just the moves that they've made as far as name recognition, right? A lot of people don't know these people. Shep in the building. How are you, man? NFL stream, baby. Lots of information in today's stream. And I have so much information that I probably won't have a fan of every single team to go over, but I ended up doing each team grade to kind of, obviously, since I was sick with the stomach bug, I wasn't able to, get it done. But I would give Seattle, it's like a B+ A- grade. I'm probably closer to the B+. It's kind of like if there was a grade in between B+, A-, B++, that's what I would give them. All right. So the Draymond Jones, and the Jaron Reed, I like those, plugging in the holes. Safety, Julian Love, Evan Brown, Devin Bush. All right. Most of people, they have no idea who any of these fucking guys are. Probably Jaron Reed might be the one that's most well known besides Jones, right? But these aren't like household names. You know what I'm saying? The big thing is the guy on the screen is Geno Smith, obviously Drew Lock, just to have the insurance, but really it's Geno Smith. Now with the key losses, you had Rashad Penny and Travis Homer. Penny obviously was a bad draft pick and he got hurt all the time. Homer gave you that energy, but it's okay losing him. Shelby Harris, Cody Barton, Quentin Jefferson, Gabe Jackson. There's some names there, right? But it's not detrimental. You already have, Kenneth Walker III, you already have these other pieces. So the Penny and Homer thing, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And you're going to keep continuing to get better in the draft, right? And you got a couple of these pieces that you had to do some maneuvering. So the Hawks, they had to kind of move around the cap and do some cap work with Schneider, right? But you ended up getting Smith at a reasonable price. He probably wanted a couple $1 million more, but to keep him there was the smart thing to do after what happened last year. continuity, chemistry. And honestly, if you think about it, Geno or Levis or Richardson, Geno, you want to make sure that you're not getting, one of these other quarterbacks. You want to stick with a good piece that you have now, see where it goes this year and next year, and then reevaluate the future in the third year. And by the time you get to Geno in the third year, you're probably already moving on to that next quarterback that you've already drafted, that he's been grooming and mentoring, or you're bringing in someone else new, unless you end up getting a wild card this year, you win 10 wins. Next year, you win 12. You go to the NFC Championship game. Then Geno probably comes back for that third year to keep feeding that momentum. But if that doesn't happen, then you can move on. But overall, B+, B++, almost to the A- grade. But I would say, B to B+, it's a fair grade. Like I said, the names aren't really famous, but sometimes they don't have to be famous names to fill the holes that are needed. But really, you don't want to build through free agency. You want to build through the draft. So you would rather have an A+ draft and a B+ free agency rather than an A+ free agency and a B+ or B- draft. Drafting is where you guys are going to be able to excel. And if you end up having a draft like you did last year, this year, and next year, you're going to have a better chance on dethroning the San Fran for the NFC, West crown. Right now, you're positioned in the number 2 spot, projected probably for, 10 to 12 wins. Right. But the Niners are going to be there too. And they're going to be projected probably for, 10 to 13, maybe like one extra one at that point. But this was the number one thing that you needed to resolve, not the additions, but making sure you got Geno re-signed, and you did. So definitely like that particular move. And I wasn't, you have to reward a guy that's never gotten paid. And he definitely played well for you guys. So that's facts. All right, let me go here. Shep, my boy. I'm good. I actually talked about your Falcons, man. So I went over some of the teams. So obviously with my sensational 7, I think Houston right now, to me is number 1, obviously with what they did and with the moves that they made, including today. If you haven't heard, they made so many moves, and then picking up the number 1 guy out of all the guys that are left in free agency, even higher than Odell. This was number 1, Dalton Schultz. And then you got him and Devin Singletary to go to the Texans. So I definitely wanted to make sure that we went over that. But the thing that really makes it just above and beyond is just all the rest of the pieces that they ended up getting. Sheldon Rankins, Jimmy Ward, Robert Woods, Mike Boone, Noah Brown, Case Keenum, Andrew Beck, Chase Winovich, Hassan Ridgeway, Shaq Mason. Almost every NFL fan has heard of probably 85% of the names that I mentioned, except for Andrew Beck and Hassan Ridgeway. Everyone else is a name. Rankins, Ward, Woods, Boone, Brown, Keenum, Winovich. You've heard of them. You know what I'm saying? You might not remember what team they played on or whatnot, but you've heard of those guys. So definitely excited for what Houston has done. And on top of that, DeMeco Ryans is there. On top of that, CJ or Bryce. And on top of that, pick number 2 and pick number 12. Pretty fucking impressive. And then number 2, obviously, is the Chicago Bears and everything that they were able to accomplish with the trade. Obviously with the DJ Moore and the other pieces that they were able to accumulate as well. So with the Bears, DJ Moore, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Andrew Billings, Dante Foreman, love that. Big Bob Tonyan, love that. DeMarcus Walker, Nate Davis, Travis Homer, PJ Walker. That's pretty impressive. Those 2 won free agency. It's not even close. If you look at the names and what you were able to get, these 2 won free agency. A+ grades for those 2. And then other teams that I thought that did well, Cincinnati Bengals, New York Jets, but they haven't figured out the Aaron Rodgers thing yet because they probably are, Packers are trying to get the 1. They're not going to give the 1 away. They need offensive line desperately. And even if Aaron goes there, he's not going to be that great because the O-line stinks and the defense needs a lot of work. Yes, you got some names there, with the Breece Hall and the Garrett Wilson, you know what I mean? But you need more than that to be a successful football team, especially if you're going to be going against the fucking Buffalo Bills in Miami in that division alone, right? I like what Detroit did. And lo and behold, what is this? Atlanta Falcons. I even got your Falcons in there, dude. And I actually talked about them earlier. And obviously this is big. Jesse Bates III. And with the Falcons, like I said, I feel that they got an A grade because you got Jesse Bates III, David Onyemata from the Saints, Caden Ellis, Heineke from Meineke, Taylor Heineke. I love him. Jonnu Smith, love him. Tay Davis, Mac Hollins. You got names. And then re-signings, Lindstrom, McGarry, Carter, Bradley Pinion, Smith, Sharping, right? And you only lost Isaiah Oliver. No big deal. Mariota went to the Eagles. Good for him. And then Abdullah Anderson. So really, the Falcons upgraded their defense big time for new coordinator Ryan Nielsen in the Saints scheme. Onyemata and Ellis come from the Saints. Bates was huge, obviously, in Cincinnati, right? And then they got a contingency plan for Ritter with Heineke replacing Mariota, and Heineke's ceiling is higher than Mariota. So if you actually look at what Atlanta did, to me, they had one of the sensational 7 spots. I like what they did. And anyone that knows Jesse Bates III, they know I love linebackers and safeties. This is going to be huge for you guys. Obviously, there's a long ways to go between being respectable again. But, I had to make sure I did my research, and I threw you guys in there. I thought that was good. And even threw in the Saints. I'm NFC South, so got to let them know. Saints, I had to throw you in there. But as far as the Saints go, it hasn't been a bunch, right? But it's been big, right? So you obviously got Derek Carr that essentially puts you in the driver's seat for the NFC South for the next 3 to 4 years until the Bucs and the Panthers and the Falcons catch up. And then you get Mr. Goal Line touchdown himself, Jamal Williams, who probably is the most cool, calm, collected, funny, genuine, caring, legit human being in the NFL. He is my favorite player in the NFL as far as players. He's just a real cool, genuine, humble dude that likes Pokemon and anime and plays video games and is just such a cool interview. And I know the Saints fans will love him. Of course, they need to have a contingency plan behind AK-41. He might go to jail. He might, have something that's going on there. But, it sucks. I wish I could say, oh, Tampa did a great job, but what did we do? Sign Baker Mayfield for a year. So what does that mean, right? That means that we're tanking by not saying that we're tanking, right? And you got him and Kyle Trask. So 3 to 7 wins is the goal. But then at least I get Chase Edmonds, and that gives me someone that I can have, as a change of pace back. And we were not chasing Zeke. We just got Chase Edmonds. So not a lot of moves, and I would mark this a C- for the Buccaneers. But again, we weren't trying to be able to be a good team. We're trying to tank to get Caleb Williams or Drake May. And this was the number one priority, making sure that my second favorite player comes back. And he did. So at that point, that's, Tampa Bay, terrible. All your guys' favorite teams, probably much better than mine. So, but after this year, I would hope to be, recognized as going in the right direction. And I'm just praying I can get Caleb Williams or Drake May as my starting quarterback in the future. So thank you guys. I appreciate you guys very, very much. And like I said, I don't mind talking about NFL every day, but when there are events, I'm probably going to cater towards that. But I guess if we have an NBA game, right, or we can talk NFL and we have more people that would rather talk NFL, then I'll do NFL. There might be more views and, more possible, subs and whatnot. But I'm going to do what's going to be best for the channel and just try to take advantage of the events as we can. Bottom of the 9th, Mexico up 5-4, no outs. Runners on first and second. Japan might be able to advance. This is crazy. What a crazy game. I almost wish I did this matchup. But I wanted to be able to do this NFL, and I've been waiting. So, all right, man. Appreciate you, brother.
That there's going to be a bunch here, right? This hitter is looking to find a gap and send Team Japan into.
Oh, I don't think so. Everyone can speculate and whatnot. And plus, that's the type of quarterback that would be a project, a backup to learn from someone. You wouldn't want Hooker playing right away. You know what I mean? That would be detrimental to your team if Hooker's your starting quarterback. Now if Hooker ends up going to, the Colts, and then they already have Minshew, then that's good. Someone that he can learn off of and whatnot. But if I'm the Colts and I already have Minshew, there's no way in hell I'm drafting Levis or Richardson. I would get, Will Anderson. I would get Anderson or someone that's sitting there. You go for the best available talent. You know what I mean? There's no point of having Minshew and then one of those other project guys, because what happens if you invest in Levis and Richardson and it doesn't pan out and they turn into the next Jamarcus Russell, or some other Sam Darnold, and it doesn't work. And then what? It's a wasted pick. Then you're going backwards. So, but let me know any other photos that you guys want. I got you. So whatever you guys want, Sarah, Reflect, Megan, any Seahawk players, Seahawk draft status. But again, you always want to make sure you're winning through the draft. Free agency's nice. You know what I mean? It's nice, but you can't bank on, we won. Like even the Texans won free agency. They're the worst team in football. It's not like they're going to go from the worst team in football to winning the division. At least we don't think so, right? But we have seen crazier things. Well, this is going down to the wire. Mexico 5, Japan 4, bottom of the 9th. Runners at first and second. No outs. Mexico is tripping right now. Starting pitcher, too, for Japan pitched over 100 miles an hour, 19 out of his first 20 pitches. It's an MLB prospect. And then Otani's out there, so obviously that's a must-see. Oh, Japan! Japan! Go, 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 go. Go. Woo! Let's go. Represent the homeland, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. My cousins are happy. Hey, 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 hey. And Mexico was the better team, or were they? Let's go. USA versus Japan tomorrow. Oh, let's go, baby. Wow. That's tough for Mexico. You got to be able to close out games. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Mexico came out with a 3-run homer, but Japan kept fighting, had bases loaded. Some got stranded, got bases loaded again, got some runs, got behind again, kept fighting like the USA team. And now you look it up and there it is. Wow. What a good game. That actually was one of the best games in the WBC right there. I'm glad I watched it entirely. Wow.
This was one of the best World Baseball Classic games.
They may. We will see.
Has been played maybe in a long time. I haven't seen every one of them, but I can't imagine a more.
Wow. Awesome.
Every team, both teams did what they had.
Yes.
That's saying something because it seems like every night we're talking about guys saying this is the best game they've ever been a part of. This is the best environment they've
I'm just scrolling back on some of the comments here.
Takes its first lead of the game as the winning runs.
Wow, that was nuts. I mean, like I said, you can only get behind so often when you're going against these good teams. But do Otani, oh my gosh, this is sweet. So we're going to end. I mean, let's look at this again. Oh, he crushed it. Well, they already were in trouble when there was 2 guys on with no outs. Ooh. Woo! Wow. Let's go. Yes.
Otani had the luxury of waiting a little bit. The read by the first base runner was so perfect that when I looked up,
No, Japan plays USA tomorrow for the championship.
That was a move made right before the at-bat by Hideki Kuriyama.
I don't think so. I think trading back would actually be smarter for them. The more picks you get, and if you're able to hit on them now in the last few years, that's going to be another starter that you're going to be able to fill. It's like 1 great player or 2 good players that will turn into great players. You just got to be able to look there, having 1 guy be an all-pro or maybe 2 all-pros. That's, it's like, what would you rather have? So I don't know. I think I disagree with that. I think that you don't have to keep the 5th pick. I think you can trade back, to like 8th or 9th, still get the guy that you wanted to pick at 5th and get an additional guy that you didn't even think that you'd be able to get. You have to be able to think like that because that's what Seattle has done in the past. Yeah, one game. That's why the WBC has been cool. It's not like a 7-game series. It's pretty much one game. You win, you move on. You win, you move on. So you play one bad game, you're fucked. So right now we got USA and Japan, and I'm super stoked. I mean, I would have been happy with Mexico going too. They're fun to watch. So I already knew it was going to go down to the wire, but holy shit, I didn't know it was going to be that close. Much better than USA's game with the blowout yesterday. And if my girlfriend can finish before 4 p.m., I'll start it right at the beginning, but I may have to, hop on it like 4:15, 4:30, and then I'll do the game. So, because that's when she kind of is the cutoff point. So we'll see if she's done before that time, and then I can do the game. I was hoping the game would be on a little bit later, and then we can do plenty of other NFL streams and whatnot too. So, yeah, let me get some photos up for you guys. Tell him, Shohei. He's like, all my inspiration is from my boy O-Dog.
Finally, tomorrow, championship game against Team USA. Will you be available to pitch?
So you're telling me if you're at 5th pick, you trade to 8, you get the same guy you would have picked with 5th, and you get another pick, and that person turns into an all-pro, and you wouldn't want that? You wouldn't want 2 good players instead of 1 if you're going to get the same guy and trade back 3 spots? I mean, it's business, What happens if you pick the pick at 5 and the person busts? Then what? Yeah, that scenario too, where you pick a guy and he gets injured or he's not a good player. It's like, what happens if that happens? You got to look at that scenario too. Just because you have a guy and it's high profile, sometimes, the pressure of being high profile, that's why people bust. That's a fact. Not every first rounder pans out.
Japan showed every aspect of what they do, how they pay attention to every detail, and just their grit. And they came back in a game that did not look like they were going to, and won a classic. You mentioned it right there. We talked about it a little bit before, but what a job by Team Mexico. What a showing for Team Mexico, that country that loves baseball so much, only getting better. Incredible stuff.
Nice job by Japan. Let's go.
The championship game. It'll be Team USA and Team Japan for the World Baseball Classic title tomorrow. For John Smoltz and Ken Rosenthal, Joe Davis finishing things up from in the booth, but on the other side of the break, Kevin Burkhardt's got you with A-Rod and Big Poppy to recap this thriller and tee up the championship game, which will be 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
Saturday, baseball's best are showing out on Fox. This is where MVPs are VIPs. All the swag, all the sauce, and all the slang.
I got to find something else to watch now. All right, this is over. That was fucking entertaining. All right, what do we got? All right, we got Broncos Seahawks from last year on NFL Network. Well, looks like that's from week 1. Looks like we're watching that. Because I've followed football since 1985 and I know exactly how football works. I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, you got to look at the players and the draft picks. The thing is, if you study the league, right, not every player position is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9. Not every pick is going to be like, oh, pick 6 and pick 5 and pick 7 and pick 8 all need D tackle. So they're all looking at the same guy. It's not true. You know what I mean? So there might be some top 3 boards that need D tackle, but you're not going to see pick 5, pick 6, pick 7, pick 8, pick 9, all looking at the same guy. They might already have a guy there that's a solid, stud, like a Micah Parsons is there, so they're not going to be picking that position, for example, or, Aaron Donald's there, or this person's there, Vita Vea is there, so that's how because they're not going to pick a spot when the spot is already filled. But we will see. It's going to be exciting. Because they don't do it every year. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it comes and goes. It all depends on what they feel is the need and if they actually have someone targeted on the board that they like. So, if you're going to trade at 9, why would you trade up at 9 to get Cross? Because no one else was going to pick him there. No one else was going to actually pull the trigger so it fell into your lap. And if you would have traded up to get him, then you would have been wasting picks. So sometimes you have to stay pat and just wait for people to fall into your lap. Like, that you're high on a guy, but there might not have been another team that would have picked him, in that next few picks. Like, if you wouldn't have picked him, how many more picks would he have gone? Maybe one other pick, the next pick, maybe he would have went 5 or 6 or 7. Sometimes, you'll go one person, drafting a player, and then you're like waiting so many picks, and then that guy goes, even though they may be worthy of a higher pick, but you don't really know what each team is going to do, because once the draft starts, everyone's mock draft board is fucked, because one trade happens and everyone that you thought was top on your board, everyone starts sliding down, and then you get nervous because you have to kind of do things on the fly. People are trading, people are moving up, people are moving down. So just because you have guys on your board doesn't mean that those guys are still going to be your top 3. You might have to go number 4 option, number 7 option. You're going to have to kind of, figure out how the board is going to work. And that's why it's difficult to kind of break it down. But that's why if you break down each team that's in the top 10, and what their needs are besides Seattle's, then you can kind of have a gauge on, okay, I need this player. Is there anyone else in the top 10 that is going to be looking at this player, assuming that they're still there? And then that gives you a gauge on, that way, if you go from 5, you trade back to 8, you get an extra first and second rounder. It makes sense to do something like that. It's not like there's a guy there that's like a Micah Parsons where, if you trade back, he's not going to be there. This is not that type of draft. This draft is different. It's like you got the Bryce Young, you got the CJ Stroud, you got Anderson. And then besides him, like they're just guys. There's not anyone there's like, oh my God, I got to have this guy. There's not like this Aaron Donald in the draft this year. And there's not a Micah Parsons necessarily like in this draft, like right away. There's guys that are going to step up and make names for themselves, but just based off like college, like I said, so going from 5 to 8 or 9, you're probably going to be able to get the same type of guy. And even if you don't, right, you might be able to get your second option and then get another first round pick that'll turn to another starter and then maybe an additional player. So I don't know. Based on where you guys are sitting, you need to be able to get pieces to catch up to San Fran. And if you pick one person and then they bust, then you're going to be going backwards. So just like, you haven't been there before, you got to pick. Well, there's another reason why you need to trade back, because you haven't done it before, and what happens if you pick the wrong guy? Or if you pick Jalen Carter, then what are you going to do? They don't trade back, right? Or you trade back, you get Jalen Carter and you get another couple players, even if you don't want them. It all depends on the flow of the draft. That's facts. Jameson, $2.99. Appreciate you. All right, I got some photos to grab. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. There's nobody in this draft, at the position that you're at that's going to take you from, going from 2 to 1, in the NFC West over San Fran right away. I don't think there's like necessarily that guy. And I don't know, you're probably not going to be able to get Anderson, so besides that, I don't know. Paisley, you snuck outside. You're lucky you didn't run away. I would have been sad.
It's tough to get out of position, which he was. That's the inclination. As soon as you then start grabbing.
See, a lot of the stuff like keeping the pick, that's stuff that you guys are talking about in your guys' YouTube chat. your Instagrams and your Twitters and your TikToks and your 12s and you guys in your YouTube rooms with like another 300 Seahawk fans. You know what I mean? Some are going to know, some are not. Some know football, some don't. Some know a little, you know what I mean? Some know how football works as a business and some don't, but like I said, accumulating talent is going to be for what's best for Seattle because like I said, in years past, they weren't good at drafting at all. They were terrible. All right. And in the last couple of years, they've been very, very good. They've turned it around. So if you're able to hit on so many pieces, it's like imagine if you had, Kenneth Walker and Charles Cross, but you didn't have Tariq Woolen or Abraham Lucas. Having 4 guys is a lot better than 2. So that wouldn't happen. And then Carter turns into the next Warren Sapp. Then what? Yeah, Carter's getting too much of a bad rap. He's had the highest PFF in 8 years at D tackle. So I mean, there's a lot of good about him. What to do? Yes, I'm so happy you guys decided to do that. And like it's just about accumulating the picks. But I mean, like most Seattle fans know, to act like Schneider and Pete were doing a great job. A few years back. I mean, you'd be kidding yourself. You could still be a fan, but you get frustrated. You know what I mean? Like you gotta remember, you gotta look at what you've done in previous years and look what you did last year and compare it draft wise. Did you have a draft where you had Kenneth Walker, Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, Tariq Woolen? And if it wasn't close to that, then they probably weren't really doing a good job. So that is the standard. That is the gold standard. And that's what you want to strive for every year, is trying to be able to get 3 or 4 solid starters and then maybe even one of them standing out as one of the best in the NFL, aka Tariq Woolen with Sauce Gardner. So you know what I mean? Like it's not a bad thing to trade. It's like if they got their eyes set on certain people, and sometimes people will reach for a player where a guy will get drafted at like 12, but no one else in the first round was even going to draft the guy. You could have got him in the second round, but sometimes they fall in love, with a player, or other teams lie to them and act like they're interested as smoke, and they have no business drafting that guy. They're just doing it to fuck with your head, So sometimes you get these GMs and these owners and coaches that they pull the trigger way too soon. Normally something like that happens with the Raiders, right? They pick some fucking guy that shouldn't even be picked, like Alex Leatherwood, and you're like, what are you doing? You could have waited 20 picks to pick that guy. But, that's why good teams are good and bad teams are bad. You got to be able to have the right people there. So I don't know. I just don't think that Carter is going to be as bad as the people are trying to make him out to be. The D tackle position really isn't that great in this draft. There's like promise, and I feel that there's names, right? And yeah, it might not be Aaron Donald, Warren Sapp, but bottom line, you need to be able to stop the run. And if that's one of the bigger pieces that can help stop the run, and if you go that route, so be it. And especially if you can trade with another team, slide down 3 picks, get him if you do, or someone else, and then accumulate another first rounder or second rounder or fourth rounder, and then those turn into starters, then we're talking about maybe NFC West, you might be able to win it, instead of just keeping like the 5th pick and then hope that it pans out, hope the guy doesn't get hurt, hope the guy lives up to the expectations. And then if the guy busts, then what? Then you're going backwards. You're still going to be a pretty good team, but then you're going to be like, well, shit, if we would have picked this guy, and then you're thinking about all the other scenarios in your head. So yeah, I'll go over the Chiefs for you guys as well. And I'll get you guys some more photos. So I'll get some photos here for Reflect, Sarah, Megan, but like I said, I don't get baited in with all the people in the chats and, all the other, he say, she say, this is good. You just have to understand each team and how they've addressed things in the past. and where they're going. What's the ultimate goal? You're trying to win the NFC West. So that is the ultimate goal.
Cam Newton will be back at quarterback on Tuesday. The former Panthers quarterback and 2015 MVP announced on social media that he'll be throwing at Auburn's Pro Day.
Cam Newton throwing at Auburn Pro Day. He's like, I missed this game.
On Twitter, Newton expressed dismay that lesser qualified quarterbacks are getting off-season contracts, saying, quote, how these randoms keep getting jobs. In free agency news, NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero reporting Houston is signing former Cowboys tight end Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, well, last year was not only a success. Last year, you could argue, might have been the best draft they've had. You know, like I said, within the last like 10 or 20 years, can we remember a better 4 players than that? I can't. You know, that was probably one of the best drafts I've ever seen them ever have in their history, honestly. And we're going to be able to see the throwback uniforms this year. So that's another extra piece of swagger that we're going to be able to see. Yeah, I think right now with like the Chiefs and like the Colts and a lot of teams like the Bucks, a lot of us got like bad grades, C-. You know, it's just like, well, there's a lot that could have been done. You know, I only got Baker. I'm trying to tank. Chase Edmonds, I like that signing, but I lost too many players. With the Colts, the number one thing, you know, you got rid of Matt Ryan, Okereke, Paris Campbell. You know, you're going to miss those guys, but as far as Gilmore and Faison, not a big deal. You know, and then Ebukam, Minshew, Gay, Brian, I like those. But still, with that being said, we got to be able to see what they're going to be doing. And if you already got Gardner Minshew, I would not go for Levis or Richardson. That's just me. You know, I definitely would just roll with Minshew, see what happens, and then go into the next year and then trying to get your quarterback. I mean, you don't talk about CJ and Bryce for 5-6 months, and then all of a sudden the Panthers trade up, and then you just settle for Richardson or Levis. Hell no. I mean, I know I wouldn't. If I was in that organization, there's nothing that you could tell me to draft Richardson or Levis at that pick. You know, I'm either trading back and accumulating picks, you know, or I'm trying to get the best possible offensive lineman or defensive player at that spot. I'm not going QB there. Absolutely not. There will be a wasted pick if they pick QB. So, and with the Chiefs, you know, you got Juwan Taylor, you know, Eminihu, Tranquil, Mike Edwards from Tampa. That was a good pickup for you guys. I think you guys will like Mike Edwards. He's a baller. Re-signings, Allegretti, the guard, but you lost Orlando Brown, Frank Clark, Juan Thornhill, Juju, Wiley, Kalen Saunders, Michael Burton, Henny. So you guys lost a lot, but you guys still, you know, are the Chiefs. So it's not going to be that detrimental compared to if you had those losses as another team. You guys will rebuild and you will be okay. But obviously it's a little alarming on how many guys are no longer on the team. And then I kind of went over, you know, the grades, but yeah, definitely Tampa, Chiefs, Colts, we all get C grades. I get C minus because, you know, we're trying to lose. We're not trying to win. We're trying to tank, obviously for, you know, a Caleb Williams or a Drake May. So.
Sacks in 7 games. The guy burst onto the scene in 2018 with 12 sacks as a rookie, 7.5 in 2020. It's kind of been every other year, and he's trying to kick it back into gear.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about this morning too. If I'm the Colts and if I have that pick, I try to do everything in my power to get Lamar Jackson. That's what I would do. And you know, like I've been critical of Lamar and I've been critical of Kyler and some of those guys, but Lamar's better than Kyler. Lamar won't, you know, be a guy that will play good in the beginning and shitty at the end. I think that would be the best fit for Lamar is San Francisco. You know what I mean? But I don't know if that's going to happen down the road. But if Lamar goes to San Francisco will win a Super Bowl. They'll be able to win with a top 10 talent there. But another fit would be the Colts. But are they willing to get rid of that pick and a few other pieces to get Lamar? And if they do, that's much better than trying to do Richardson or Levis or, you know, like I think that Lamar would – if I'm the Colts, you wanted Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, and the Panthers fucked you over. They traded all that capital, and now – the Panthers more than likely are going to pick C.J. Stroud or Bryce. And if you know, you got to pray that maybe they decide to, as Paisley's behind me, walking around, unless they pick Richardson or something like that. You know what I mean? So if the Panthers go Richardson and then Bryce goes too, then CJ falls into your lap and everything is great. You know, but if not, then, you know, you'll have to figure that out.
Run away. But when he needs to go get it, he's certainly capable. It'll be 3rd down and 2 at the start of quarter number 4.
Okay.
Thousands of families affected by disasters urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide help and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org/NFL today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Yeah, but Kyler.
My patients with sensitivity, I see irritated gums and weak enamel. Sensodyne sensitivity gum and enamel. Relief sensitivity helps restore gum.
All right, hold on.
And rehardens enamel.
Hold on.
Of recommending things that I know work.
This isn't just overtime. It's overtime at Buffalo Wild Wings, which means 6 free boneless wings when a March Madness game goes into overtime and you check in an order with blazing rewards. Wipe the sauce off your bracket. We ain't done yet.
Does anybody actually sit down to 3 meals a day these days? Well, here's how I miss a meal with this nothing. I just unwrapped one of my delicious Atkins chocolate peanut butter bars. Those big boys really fill me up, and they're Atkins. So, single digits on the net carbs and sugar, and 16 grams of protein. Now, I've also started trying some new ones.
All right, I had to move Paisley.
With great stuff like
Just going to be walking around through the green screen and everything too much, so. All right. Yeah, but as far as the, you know, the Chiefs there, I know obviously the big loss was the Orlando Brown, but I mean, you kind of had that possibly coming, but again, that helps out the Bengals pretty tremendously, you know, for their offensive line, and they lost quite a bit. You know, when you lose Von Bell and Jesse Bates III, this is the only thing that makes a Bengal fan feel good, that you got another guy that's going to help the hell out of Joe Burrow, and he's also trying to do the double dip on winning a championship with the Chiefs and then hopping over to the Bengals and maybe trying to win a championship with Joe. You know, wouldn't that be something? So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that progresses. But these are the teams right here as I'll go through. And then if there anyone else has any other, you know, teams that they want to go over, I can kind of go over the breakdown. But, you know, not a lot of teams got A grades. You know, there's a few. Most of them, you know, got B grades, you know, B plus, B minus. And then there was a lot that did get like C grades. And then you could probably say out of all the teams in the NFL, probably the ones at the very bottom would probably be the Green Bay Packers. You'd probably give them, you know, a D or an F, you know, based on how everything has transpired. And obviously Rodgers doesn't want them to get very much compensation because he just wants to play for the Jets. So that doesn't really give them any bargaining. And then the value for Aaron goes down quite a bit because it's the Jets. It's nowhere else. So there's not really any extra negotiating you're going to be able to get. You know, the Jets are not going to want to give up the first rounder, and they won't have to for Aaron. So they'll be able to get Aaron on a discount. Ravens are probably at the bottom too because they haven't made any additions. I would say those are probably the, you know, Ravens, Rams, Packers. Packers is definitely the worst. But those would probably be the 3 teams right now. Because the Ravens haven't picked up anybody. Rams, Hunter Long, you know, and then additions for the Packers, Tavarius Moore and Orzek, you know, Rodgers, Lazard, Tonyan, Dean Lowry, Jaron Reed, Adrian Amos. I mean, that's a lot. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I definitely think that if I'm the Colts, I am trying to do whatever I can to get Lamar, if possible. If not, I wouldn't be picking a quarterback early. If you want to get a Hendon Hooker later, fine. I like that. But I don't want you to pick, you know, certain values of picks. You have to be able to understand when you pick a guy at 5 and you pick a guy at 10, pick a guy at 15, it doesn't mean the same thing. You know, you got to understand the value for the money that you're going to be paying. You know, and obviously a first-round pick is a first-round pick, right? But not every first-round pick, second-round pick pan out. We have to remember that. You know, it's not like, oh, we got this guy, it's going to pan out. You know, it doesn't work as easy as that. You don't know everyone's work ethic. Some people are stupid. You know, they're just athletic, but they don't have a fucking brain. They're not smart. Some are smart, some are stupid. Some are just gifted and they're just fucking athletes. But the ones that really exceed and they go further above and beyond are the ones that have it up here, the ones that have the knowledge, but then they have the work ethic and the drive. And that's facts. But these are some of the teams right here. Texans, they won fucking free agency. Bears, right there with them. And then other teams that I liked, Bengals, Lions, Falcons, Jets, but the Aaron Rodgers deal isn't done yet. Saints, and then obviously we talked and touched on a little bit. It was Seattle. Not the best, but not the worst. And then Tampa, fucking terrible. Terrible. But again, we're trying to be terrible. So we did what we wanted to do. Be terrible. You know, sign Baker, right? So that way it's just him and then obviously with the Kyle Trask. And that's it. So. But the Texans, they've been working. Dalton Schultz today, Devin Singletary. We know the Bears and what they obviously were doing, you know, and getting a lot of compensation. Aaron, next QB for the Jets, pretty soon. They already got Allen, the Lazard already there. Montgomery to the Lions. I like that. Jesse Bates to the Falcons. Orlando Brown to the Bengals. And you got Carr. And Jamal Williams. I love that for the Saints. That's painful for me because I'm a Buccaneer fan, but this is fantastic. If I'm a Buccaneer fan or if I'm a Saint fan and I have Carr and Williams, I'm just jumping up and down. Also seeing how bad the Buccaneers look and the Panthers and the Falcons, even though that we're all trying to improve, you know, this might be the team that wins the division for the next couple years by default. But at least I got my guy, Levante, back. And, Baker, he'll be terrible. Chase Edmonds should be kind of fun, but I'm trying to win 3 to 7 games, and having Kyle Trask and Baker should help me get to 3 to 7 wins. So, all right, let's see if I can get a few more photos for y'all. Reflect, do you have any photos of any of the draft picks or anything that you want to see in general? I can throw some more up. And I'll just keep continuing to look to see if I can find anything else that is worthy here. Oh, this is a cool one. Here's one for you. Here's one for you, Megan.
I'm an actor in an ad. I was given 12 seconds to remind you that if you're high, just don't drive. Because if you feel different, you drive different. It's illegal to drive high everywhere anyway.
When you have auto glass damage, trust SafeLight. We'll replace your windshield and recalibrate your advanced safety system.
Oh, there we go.
Braking and lane departure warning work properly.
There you go. That's a cool one. That's the first one, the first time for me. And then Jameson, let's go with yours. Let me try to get you on here too. I haven't forgot about you. Let's go with the Titans here. Hold on. Let me try to get you a transparent logo. And I'll kind of go over what I feel with you guys. Quarterback needs to be figured out. That's obviously, if it's going to be Malik or not, moving forward.
So, how's it going? With interest rates up, I've been looking to get a better savings account, but all the options have you up in the air. Go yes. At NerdWallet, we can help you make the smartest decision by comparing rates of top high-yield savings accounts. Oh, amazing. It's the smartest way to get the most out of your savings. Well, in that case, I'll have another coffee.
Oats, almonds, regular.
Oh. Did you get it? It's because earlier she was up in the air and now she's down.
Okay.
I thought it was good.
NerdWallet, the smartest decision for all your financial.
All right. Can I find one? Can I find a transparent logo?
And I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being
Here we go. Here we go.
Naloxone nasal spray. Fentanyl is cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know
it's so harmful. Really just all about the money. I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
Or kitchen now.
Ooh, I had to look though. It's not as easy as you think. I had to go through like 14 of them to be able to find the one that will, it's these transparent ones are not easy. They say, oh, it's transparent. It's not. It's got like a circle over a circle or a square, but you want to try to find stuff that looks the cleanest. And you wouldn't think it would be that difficult, but that's a nice one right there. All right, let's go over the Titans here for Jameson as well, and I'll get you guys some more photos. No problem. Anytime. Let me see.
Short to the Patriots in 4 here by Javonte Williams. Well, these 12s have seen it all too often when they were rooting for Russell Wilson, and they know that no lead is safe until this game is over. He's just done it too many times on too big of stages for anybody to be able to relax.
I had to look for it. Like I said, I was just trying to find a transparent logo, and I had to go and go and go, and I don't know how many pages I had to go through, because what you do is you have to grab it, from there, drag it, and when you're dragging it and it comes down to your desktop, the way that it falls on your desktop will show you if it's transparent, just the logo, or if it's got the box or circle around it. And ultimately, if you get one that has a circle or square around it, it just doesn't look as good. But when you get them transparent, like in the corner there, then everything looks good. But it takes time to be able to try to find those. And then with the Titans, I had it kind of the same thing at this point with like the Buccaneers, like a C-. So I would assume that you probably had it like C- as well, Jameson. But additions, you got Andre Dillard, right? So obviously that's a name, that we knew through the Eagles. Brunskill, Arden Key, Azeez Al-Shaair, Gifford, and then you got my Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Sean Murphy-Bunting. I think you'll like him. Murphy-Bunting, he had a little bit of an injury issue, but he was nice. What's up? What? All right, 1 second. I got to help with something with Paisley. 1 sec. 1 sec.
What's going on? He just stood there and just opened up a huge lane for Sutton to sit there. He's open for a while. Very close to the win game, but they just get that snap away and now get a screen going for Williams, who ran into a hit delivered by Jordan Brooks. Brooks, who is a budding star in this league with a franchise.
All right, I'm back. Paisley's on one today. She snuck out of the house and everything now. She's just on one. So hopefully everything will be chill. Chief with a 10. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Let me know what you want to see for photos, and I got you. Appreciate you very, very much. Bang, bang. But with the Titans there, like I said, the Sean Murphy-Bunting, I like that. The re-signings, you got Nick Westbrook, so that obviously bringing him back. I mean, you need more wide receivers. You need more talent there. Didn't throw the ball at all really last year. But with the losses, you got Taylor Lewan, right? Ben Jones, Robert Woods, Bud Dupree, Randy Bullock, Nate Davis, DeMarcus Walker, Kevin Strong, David Long Jr. Sounds like Tampa Bay. You're losing everything. You know what I mean? And you guys were in a salary cap hell like I was. So you needed to do some cleaning up for the new GM, Carthron replacing John Robinson. So Dillard is a flyer, to probably stay on that left side. And they're hoping that Key and Al-Shaair will contribute on the outside. But, based on all the players that you lost, you only had one re-signing, and it wasn't really the greatest player, just like a role player as a wide receiver, nothing that you can't live without. And then you've got some additions, but some of the names are recognized, some aren't as much. But maybe Dillard and Murphy Bunting hopefully will be impactful. And then they're hoping, obviously Arden Key and Aziz Al-Shair, they're hoping those guys will be impact guys. But a lot of the names that you lost were pretty big names. So obviously with the Colts and Titans, there, we don't really know what's going to be happening with these two franchises, but we do know the Jags and the Texans are on the up and up. So, you can be bad, but you're not going to stay bad forever in the AFC South. So I think C to C minus grade, just like Tampa Bay. We lost way too much. You gained more than I did. I only got 2 pieces, but it's still kind of a wait and see approach with Key, Al-Shair, Gifford. But I do think with Murphy, Bunting, and Dillard, that could be hopefully some plays for you, moving forward. So, and you can let me know if you agree with that or not. But I got you with that too. Yeah, but ultimately, I think that I do like what the Saints did. Like I said, they were in my 7, obviously with the teams. I like what they did with the Saints because obviously if you get Carr in the building, right? So you have Jameis there still as well. You get Jamal Williams, and Jamal Williams right now is the funnest guy on interview, as far as any NFL player. Pokemon, video games, anime, he's real. He was talking about, eating crawfish, and he doesn't like looking at the head of, if the head is still attached and everything. And he's just a cool guy, man. And he's going to be able to help quite a bit, especially if AK-41 goes to jail or has probation. He's going to be going to court in summer. And then even if MT-13 doesn't pan out, they'll be looking for other guys in the draft. But since you have Carr and Jamal Williams, AK-41, you still got a great offensive line led by Ryan Ramczyk, right? You still got a good defense, even though there's filler pieces that you need to fill in. By default, having Carr and Williams, you should be able to win the division for the next couple years until Tampa, the Panthers, and the Falcons catch up. So I do like the Saints as one of my sensational 7, out of the teams that I did. So out of my 7 again, and I'll go over any other photos that you guys want. I had Texans as 1, Bears at 2, and then in no specific order after, Bengals, Falcons, Lions, Jets were waiting for the Aaron Rodgers to get completed. And then I had the Saints. And then we've obviously discussed, for you guys, Reflect and Megan with Seattle. Not the best, but not the worst. And then the Titans are kind of like, with the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, where it's kind of like a C grade, wait and see approach. But Tampa is much worse than any other your guys' teams. We got Baker, we got Chase Edmonds, but ultimately with Trask and Baker, I don't want them to do good because I want my franchise quarterback. So I'm only looking to win 3 to 7 games, and then trying to get a top 5 pick and trying to get Caleb, Drake May, not necessarily Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr. And if I had a choice, I would go Michael Penix Jr. over Bo Nix, even though I'm a Duck fan. And we'll kind of wait and see. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you, man. Appreciate you very, very much, brother. $54. Let's get to a hundo. Megan with a 10er, helping out the cause. Nice little dono trade for you guys. Appreciate you. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And let me know what you guys want for photos, and I got you, or any other teams you guys want me to touch on. $64. Let's get to a hundo. Let's do it. Reflect with another 15er. Thank you. It means so much. Like I said, we've been struggling a lot in the last 3 months, based on where we were and where we're at now. So, every dollar counts before, but every dollar means even more for me to be able to continue to do this full time. And that's kind of where it's gone. Like, depending on how things go, moving forward, I may have to go back and do another second or third job. I'm hoping I don't need to. But it really does mean a lot. Thank you so much. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $15 dono. Always supporting the cause, helping your boy pay rent and bills. Thank you. Just so much. It means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. More than you know. I want to keep doing this full time. I don't want to have to. It took me 10 years to get to this point. If I have to go backwards, to go forwards, I will. But I think that, things will turn around. And I just have to pray and just hope that we can get the right people at the right time and I can continue to do my dream. So that's facts. Chief with a $5. Thank you so much, you guys. Bang, 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 boom, 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 bang, bang. And if that means, stopping, NBA games and college basketball and we just talk football every day, I'll do it. If that's what it's going to take, if we have to do less of the other things that I think that might be able to help the channel grow, but if it's, going to be where our core group just wants to talk NFL every day, I'll cut out doing the basketball and the other shit, if I have to. I was just doing it to try to help, to try to get newbies and some more growth. But if, the tube isn't going to help and it's not really working, I mean, we are getting good views on some of these things, but if it's not equating to subs or donos, then I'm just going to cater to the people that are here all the time. And if that means talking NFL with less people, fuck it. I'd rather do what's going to be best, for me and you and the channel than do an NBA game that no one really cares about where we could just be talking for NFL for 3 hours and we have a better time. So if that's what is going to take, to keep things moving, I'll talk NFL every day if that's what we want to do. Besides whenever we have like a big event, wrestling or whatever. But if it's filler content, NBA game or NFL, I would rather do NFL. I would not rather do an NBA game. So if that's what it's going to take, then I'll go back to doing that on a regular basis if that's what you guys want. So I'll cater to you guys. Appreciate you, Chief. Bang, 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 boom, 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 bang, bang. Thank you so much. Plus, I think, I'm the most knowledgeable on the NFL and the wrestling side anyways. And so we might as well discuss, NFL every day. I mean, it is something that I built the channel around. So, it's just tough, during the regular season with games because there's so much competition and whatnot, but that's not going to take away my love for the NFL. My time is coming. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Megan with a $10. Thank you. Dono Train. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bang, bang. $10 holla. $5 holla. $2 holla. Megan on her own Dono Train. It means a lot. Like I said, it's been a rough ride. Just to kind of give you an idea, in normal months, back, in the day, like even in 2022 last year, there'd be times where we would hit, in that 1,000 to 2,000 range just on the YouTube side, but within the last couple months, we're sitting at like a couple hundred. We're like thousands of thousands behind, you know what I mean? And I get it. Other people's jobs have changed. Some goats are here. Some goats are no longer here. Some goats still owe me $50 and supposedly are not coming back to the channel for their own reasoning. It is what it is. You're not going to be able to keep everyone. Not everyone is meant to be here on the channel, long term. But it feels good to be able to do, your dream and your passion and your goal. And I just have to, pray that things will work out. And I think they will. But that's kind of the scenario we're in. I love to be able to give back, but when you're going from maybe 1,500 to 2,000 on the YouTube side and you look to see where you're at and, you're more than halfway through the month and you're only at a couple hundred, I can't even pay rent, with a couple $100. So it's an alarming thing, but that's where things have been in the last, few months. I don't know if people really have understood on like how bad it's been. But I do have like belief that things can turn around and I know they will turn around. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. Bang, 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 boom, 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 bang, bang. And it all depends, like how many people. And if I'm already limited for people, then it's almost like, the heavy hitters. And then if we go from 10 heavy hitters to 2, it's a significant drop off. You feel it. These other bigger channels, they have 50 goats. So if a few of them go away or they have other things come up, it doesn't impact them. They don't feel it. It's just, instead of making X, they're still making XX dollars, But on my end, it's like, the viewership is lower. So if we go from 10 goats to 2 goats, it's like a punch to the face. It hurts. But I always know that we will bounce back. We got a great group of people, and that's facts. Yeah, and like I said, with Hooker, You know, I would like that more for like the Colts or Seahawks as like a, you know, guy that you can build around instead of reaching for a Levis or a Richardson. Now, will Levis and Richardson be great quarterbacks? They could, but I think there's a better chance of them busting than being good, honestly. You know, I think CJ and Bryce have a better chance panning out than those two. So if you're going to be reaching for someone, don't reach for Levis or Richardson, right? Get someone like an Anderson if he's there, and then Hooker later. It just makes sense because how much better is Levis and Richardson than Hooker? Honestly, you know, Hooker could maybe even be better than those other two in the right situation, right? You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to keep that in mind also, you know, and a lot of times, you know, people get sucked in to what others are saying, a part of the fan base. But just because you have a lot of people in a room doesn't mean that they all are smart or know what they're talking about. And ultimately, none of us are in the war room. So we don't really exactly know. But some of us, I feel, know the logistics, and we know that the NFL is a business, and we know a little bit more of the ins and outs of the game than the average person. Not everyone's going to know everything, but, you know, we'll see on how it pans out. All right, there's got to be some other photos and things that I can pull up for y'all. And if there's any other teams that you guys are interested to hear about a particular take, because like I said, I've been working on this thing for a while, but I didn't get a chance to really do it because I was sick for a week. But I have everything broken down, and it took a while to go through everything because there was a couple different sites for references. Then I had to do a little bit of film. Then I was reading, and then you had the updates from today. But I have a pretty good gauge on, you know, on the teams. But like I said, you know, some teams got A grades. Most of them, you know, will be in the kind of that B range. Lots of C grades, and then obviously at the very bottom, you know, you'll probably get an F grade with Green Bay. So, fourth quarter, 6 minutes and 8 seconds left. Seahawks 17, Broncos 16. See, that's the thing. Like a lot of people, you know, they're like, you know, what they see on the combine or Pat McAfee talks it up or you hear someone talk it up in rooms. You know, a lot of it is just a bunch of, you know, hooey talk. You know, they're like, oh, this guy could be the next big thing. But if you don't really feel that in your gut, then you're reaching. You're just projecting, hoping that like Richardson's the next Cam Newton. And I'll tell you, if the Panthers pick Richardson at 1, that's going to be the dumbest thing that franchise has done in their history. You know, could the guy pan out and be the next Cam? Yeah, he could, but I'm not buying all the, you know, the great interview and hey, the combine stats were all good. I mean, there's either you watch them on film, and some guys can be great in college, like Marcus Mariota, but he doesn't pan out in the NFL. And Richardson, you know, I don't think was on the Mariota level, and we're just assuming that he's going to be the next big thing. Or Levis is going to be the next big thing. When I see those guys, they remind me more of like a, you know, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield type of thing. Like there's going to be some talent there, but I don't think they're going to be as good as what people are trying to make them up to be. And a lot of it is smoke for the draft. You know what I mean? Even Bryce and CJ are the best. They're going to struggle. They're not going to be great right out of the gates. It's going to take time, and they're going to need coaching, supporting cast. So if I'm believing in CJ and Bryce, and then these people are acting like Richardson and Levis are as good as those two, they're crazy. They're not, you know, but they want to make you think they are. And I don't know. That's why, you know, for certain teams like Sarah's Colts, I don't want them to settle. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I want, you know, pizza, but I'm going to settle for this fucking McDonald's cheeseburger. You know, you're going to still crave your hunger, but it's not what you wanted. You know, you're settling, you know, and if you're going to settle, you know, for Richardson and Levis and you draft him, what happens if he gets injured, tears an ACL, or doesn't pan out? You just wasted a pick. You know what I mean? You can't afford to waste picks nowadays, especially picks that are high. So that's facts. All right, let's get some photos up. Let's do this. All right, I got to delete some of these other photos, so let me make some room.
With under 4 minutes to play, down and an opportunity to drive the length of the field
Second down and 5. Russell Wilson, 24 for 35, 315 yards, 1 TD. Seattle defense, very loud. They're wearing the bright greens there. Ooh, nice drop by Jerry Jeudy. Oh, handsome guy. There you go. Double chest. A 2-for-1. And I agree with that too. I actually think CJ has the best chance to pan out. I like him more than Bryce. I still like Bryce, but him being undersized is not going to help him. You know, it's like we've had Russell Wilson and Drew Brees pan out as a smaller guy, but it shows you how hard it is to pan out as a smaller guy. It's not impossible. You know what I mean? Like Bryce could be the third, in that line, Drew, Russ, and then, Bryce, in that line. But I 100% agree. CJ is my favorite, and it's by a long shot. I'm not saying that Bryce is going to be bad, because if Bryce goes to the Texans, it will work out. You know what I mean? But I just think CJ's upside is a little higher, in my opinion. 100% agreed. We're our wavelength and our brains are 100%. You got it, man. You and me are linked right there. And Chief, let me know if you want any particular photos and whatnot, and anything else that you guys want to discuss. I got you guys. No matter what you guys want, you just let me know. I got you. Oh, I'm digging up some newbies here for Megan. See, like I haven't shown that one before. I found another brand new one. Sometimes you just have to look at different key words and other words that maybe you've never used before, or a keyword with another keyword other than just the obvious Jim Zorn. You got to be able to be creative here. And if you get creative, you can find things that you maybe haven't been able to find. Oh, there we go. A little poker chip for you with Seattle. Ooh, there he's holding the poker chip. There he is. He's gambling. Look at that. That's perfect. That's a cool one. I'm going all out for you, all your support. So then you get stuff that you haven't seen. And I'm even surprising myself right now. You take care of me, I take care of you, and we see something new. I got another one for you that I've never shown. Look at this one. I like this one. You're going to like this one too. Look at this. This is for Reflect and for Megan there, Seahawk fans. Oh, baby. Let's go. I've never seen that one before. I'm going to work for you guys. You guys are worth it. Plus, it's cool for me too, because you guys know how much I love the old stuff. I mean, I'm an old soul at heart. So anything old, I'm all about that life. And I got to give you some in the white jersey too. I got to be able to, even though they're in black and white, you got to be able to look. Ooh, I like it. See, I'm looking. I'm trying to find the unusual. And luckily I've been able to find in this particular format. So I'm finding these ones that I've never been able to do before or seen before. Like we're right here. All of these I've never put on the show before. These are all brand new today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, sometimes you got to know how to navigate the internets.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the
These ones are cool. That's a real cool one. That's when I started finding these candid ones. Yeah. Woo! Oh, you're going to love me after this one. This is the iconic one right here. This is the beginning of the throw.
When you're a leader, the competition is always hoping that you're going to slip up. So these suits are here to make sure that
The wind-up.
is legally indisputable. Like Apartments.com has the widest variety of variety.
And then we got to go through the throw and the follow through.
We got more spaces than space.
That's entirely incalculable.
Incalculable? Oh, I think that's legalese for true.
Oh, Jeff Goldblum. They were showing Jurassic Park, World, like the whole Jurassic Park like marathon on I think it was a Sci-Fi Channel. I ended up watching like Jurassic Park for like 8 hours, 9 hours straight a few days ago. Oh, look at that one. Right before he's about to zip it to Steve Largent right there. Today's been a special day. These are all ones that I've never seen or I've never put them up on the show before. And it's always good because, Jim only has so much stuff that's limited, but I decided to play around with some, other, kind of words and seeing if it would open up something new for me. And look at that. Just, it's exciting for me too, because like I said, I love looking at new things.
Here for it all, because that's who you are. See that? Our new menu is smashing the past, the future, the delicious, and the unbelievable. So at the breakfast, lunch, dinner, or late night, at Denny's,
It's diner time.
Third down and 2, 2-minute warning. Seahawks 17, Broncos 16. Well, there's another one.
Stadium bounds and the clock runs. Denver 3 timeouts left. No, just an outstanding job by Javonte Williams. The coverage across the board, man-to-man, was pretty good, but they let Javonte Williams get through that line of scrimmage, and everyone was late to pick him up. And so he's able to get it and get a few more yards after the catch. Excellent call, and Russell Wilson finding it and recognizing what he had. Wilson has converted 5 of the last 6 third downs. Williams gets the catch.
I like all of them because they all tell a story, Oh, look at that one. Another one. Scrambling from the blitz. Very cool. Yeah, I was going to say probably like 5'8", 5'9".
Just made it. And now we have an injury timeout. Barton's not the only one down, by the way. There's another Seahawk down flat on his back at the 39. That's Darrell Taylor. Yeah, it looks like he's got cramps the way that they're working on him. Both legs. Barton's able to get up and walk off under his own power. Lost his helmet on that.
Oh, look at that one.
Williams. And a loss of 4 on it, 2nd and 14. In case you're wondering about Brandon McManus, the kicker for Denver, he's got a big leg.
See, I get a lot of joy when I can end up seeing something, new and old school. Like even that look, and that close up. Just each one under center. They're just walking into the huddle, getting ready to throw it. Then right at that peak point to Largent. Each one after a touchdown or a big first down, scrambling out of the pocket. I mean, beautiful, man. I'm kind of surprised I was able to find all those just like that. But again, when you do this for as long as I've done this, sometimes you just have like a moment of inspiration where you're just like, oh, maybe if I do this combination, maybe it'll open something up. And then lo and behold, that we got some Jim Zorn magic, because I can always find more Largent than Zorn, because Zorn is not as big of a name. But, sometimes I can't find stuff that's going to fit. But today, even though that there was a photo into a photo, based on like the cropping, it looked good and I was able to make it work. So awesome. I'm always trying to hit with the special good ones too. Yes. Anything that you want to see specifically, Chief Old Chief, reflect. I got you guys, whatever you guys want. And like I said, I have all the information about all of the teams, all 32. I mean, this took a while. Like I said, it took, a little over a week with everything, but I figured that, whatever days that we do NFL, if there's other people that want to go over this, I mean, I have enough information to do 5 shows for 5 different days, depending on, because you can go on and on and on about each team and everything. And there's 32. And like I said, we're not going to get probably fans of all 32 teams, but decided to kind of go over my sensational 7 and any of the teams that you guys wanted to go over in there as well. Let me see here.
Can we just call my dad now? Gorilla Glue.
Of course. Gorilla Glue is incredibly strong and versatile, even outdoors. For the toughest jobs.
Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for, you Chief. All right, so I got to get the proper representation here. Oh, this is sweet. Check this out. And I'll be able to do this for the future for shows too. And we'll throw up some Chief players for him. Look at this. So obviously we know free agency. We went through the different teams. You got to get the transparent logos, man. That's where it's at. It always looks so clean, so flush, and then if you have a logo like mine, it doesn't even have to be a circle. It's just the flag. It looks so much better. Look at this one. Oh, baby. Let's go. I had to find the one that had the Chiefs underneath too. That's clean. That looks good. All right, let's try to get some, maybe some Jamal Charles or something on here. Any other players that you want to see?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
All right, I'm going to go through these one more time, and then I got to make room for some of the other photos here. But I'm really glad I was able to find some of these. Started up at the top. I like that one a lot. And I really like this one right here. Just about to fire it off. Really cool action shot. I mean, they're all awesome, but there's just some that are a little bit, they grab you a little more. That's cool right there too. All right, let me delete these, make some room so I can get some photos up here and I'll get some more for you, Reflect and Megan, if you'd like, no problem. And we'll go up here. Bang, Chiefs. Oh, wow. Look at that. That looks awesome. Ooh, that looks good. Oh, man. You know, and like I said, you just got to be able to work, and you can it definitely makes things look so much cleaner on the screen too. I'm so fresh and so clean, man. I try to do it for you guys, you know. It's not only for me, but it's for you guys, and anything to help improve the channel, you know.
They still have time before they put themselves in a really tough position. All that matters here right now is that they pick up this first down. But even after that, they're going to be challenged a little bit. It would be a 64-yard field goal try from this spot.
My homeboy, of course. I mean, all the photos look dope. Look, that's how clean that looks, man. That looks so good. Sometimes you know you have to search though. It's not easy to find them. And wow, that looks so sweet. I mean, I'm going to keep a lot of these, and these are going to be a part of the shows from, you know, moving forward. It's just, you wouldn't think something is just like a transparent logo and the name would make such a difference on the screen, but goddamn, it does, doesn't it? It's just huge. Just little subtle details make such a fucking big difference. Fucking A, man. I love it. And I'll try to do that for, you know, all the teams and whatnot. See, they love it. They're like, oh, dog, he found it there. He like it. Wow, awesome. It feels like it's always been there, even though it hasn't. But wow, so sweet. Nathaniel Hackett in that first game, the beginning of the end, when you knew he was going to get fired. Wasn't even going to make it at past 1 year. If we only knew that this was just the beginning for Geno Smith and the Seahawks after week 1. And obviously, I'd rather have them do what they did rather than Denver being good last year. I like it. You know, I'm out here in the Pacific Northwest. You know, we need to be able to have good representation for Mariners and Seahawks, Kraken, and everything in between. Oh, you do? Nice. Yeah, when I was growing up, I mean, I'm normally righty, but I was already trained where I could throw with my left. Like, you know, I can throw like football, baseball. I can shoot left-handed with a basketball, but my primary is right. So like growing up, you know, it was easy for me to do left-handed layups when other kids would just like fuck up all the time, you know? So you know how that goes. Like when you're trying to do layup drill and it's like you got your strong hand and everyone looks good and they're like, okay, do left. And then it's like when you're starting off, you're like, okay, what foot do I go off of? And it just feels weird, you know, doing a left hand. Like you do it up here, but if you do like underneath, it's like you really have to have good arm strength with your arm to be comfortable to like let it go. That's why most people suck at doing shots or layups or something with the opposite hand. So your boy Jamal looking good. Yeah, Sonic's back. Yes, I agree. All right, so we're at the 3 hour and 4 minute mark. So we'll probably go to the 3 hour and 30 minute mark or 4 hour mark. I guess it just really depends on y'all. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to stream every day with what I got going on. Now I just got to find something else. And, we can do other teams. It's up to you guys. I usually, have a show broken down, or an event, and then we kind of just go from there. So for as long as you guys want to kick it, I can go for another 30 to 50, somewhere in that range. It's about 9 o'clock now. So the longest I'm going to go is 10. And then obviously my girlfriend's daughter has school. I got to go to the store, go get her like a Lunchable for school and whatnot. I think I have everything else here. So it's kind of up to you guys on where we're at. If you guys want to end the stream here in a few minutes, we can do that. If you guys want to go for another 25 minutes, we can do that. You guys want to go for 55? We can do that as well. So I'll let you guys kind of decide what we see for photos, what topics that you guys want to go through. But like I said, I do have breakdowns and grades for every team, and I'm just going to try to find something here to watch. We got Angels and Reds. NASCAR Cup Series is coming on. Maybe I'll rewatch that. Cuba, United States replay. I already watched that. We got Monday Night Raw. So, Star Wars is on. Ooh, The Empire Strikes Back. Maybe I'll just put Raw on. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad. I mean, I always try to be able to find stuff for you guys. I mean, you guys mean everything to me. And, like I said, you do have to be able to search and put in the work. But, I mean, it's worth it to me, to be able to find things that I haven't seen before. And, always makes it special. Perfect. That's why I figured I'd ask you guys. So when we're all ready to go, we can go. Now, obviously, with how the day has gone, we can go at pretty much any point now. If I was sitting at like $2 in donos, then I probably would go a little bit longer to try to, get to a number. But from your guys' generosity, we ended up having a good stream tonight. So thank you guys very, very much for your guys' support. Otherwise, we would have got nowhere near hitting the goal tonight. I appreciate you guys. So 15 sounds good. Everyone is on that 15 level, and then that'll give me time to go to the store, and I'll do some more reading. And then, and then we'll figure out what we want to do. And if people want me to go over NFL stuff every day instead of doing NBA stuff, I don't mind. I just try to do, different topics to, kind of try to get more growth, but sometimes, easier than done. So. All right, so I'll let you guys pretty much run it the rest of the way, whatever photos that you guys want to see. I appreciate it, and it means a lot. It'll definitely help go towards rent and bills, and that's very, very important. So, here, I'll try to go through some Pete Carrolls and some Steve Largents while we're just chilling, and I can throw up some photos for Chief Will Chief as well. And then we'll go from there. And then by the time we do that, I mean, the 15 minutes will be up. So, and then reflect. Do you have anyone specifically you want to see? I got you too. So, yes, Paisley, I'm almost done.
I love you too, kid. I love you. But the rest of y'all, no matter how many times I get on this mic for your entertainment, no matter how many of your superstars I beat up, let's be honest, you're never going to respect me. But guess what, y'all? I don't care, because it's not my fault that you dorks refuse to see the amount of talent standing in front of you. I am a 360-degree entertainer. There is nothing I can't do. There is no seat I cannot fill. There is no person on this roster that I cannot compete with. And whether y'all like it or not, yes, I am that good. In fact, that's why I didn't invite anyone to be my guest on Impulsive TV tonight, because quite frankly,
That's a good question. I have.
really think any of my celebrity friends
Let me see. Hold on.
to a place like St. Louis? 2 words. Get real. Get me out of here quicker than the St. Louis Rams. Sorry, the Los Angeles Rams. In fact, I'm looking forward to joining the Rams back in LA, where I challenged your hero, Seth freaking Rollins, to a match at WrestleMania, April 1st on my 28th.
I clicked on that. What based on what you typed in, and it says it doesn't exist. I mean, are you talking about like when they do the like mock drafts, like on NFL.com?
The match is going to be great. As y'all know, Seth is one of the top 3 in this business, and I'm honored to share the ring with him. When I was talking to my brother Jake, and he brought up a good point. It's just kind of hard to be afraid of.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, if I'm able to go through things, yeah, I mean, as long as it allows me to, it all depends on, I guess, the formats and other things that I'm using. I am going to try to go back to the old format to see if it'll load for me. And if it does, then I can do some other things. I won't have a ticker and I won't be able to do the photos thing, but I can have a different look on streams for things like have, pages on like ESPN and stuff like behind me and whatnot, and so I don't know. We'll kind of see on the other format. The whole reason I switched from the old format though, because it wasn't working properly. So, and then that's why I went to this particular format, and then it gives me the ability to do the photos and then the ticker and whatnot. But I would like to have options to do both. The NFL mock draft simulator. Yeah, I mean, like I said, with the simulator part, like I can have things behind me, but I won't be able to do it, I don't think, with this format. I'd have to do it on my other one. It's weird. Like each system that you use, OBS Studio, StreamYard, there's all these different ones that are out there, but they don't let you all do everything in one. It seems like they got some cool options in one, and then there's other options that are left behind. So it kind of just depends on, where you have to go. And the whole reason that I left is because I had the scoreboard and everything was cool, but then it was working my computer like, 1,000-fold. And even with my fast internet speed, the program itself was like, it wasn't working properly. So it was like lagging, and no one wants to watch great presentation on the screen with lag, because then you can't even hear me and everything's all fucked up and it's distorted. So that was kind of the catch-22, where I can give you the visuals and the looks, but then all of a sudden the program started crapping out. And then I tried doing like the OBS Studio to the OBS upgraded version, and then it wouldn't allow me to edit the scoreboard. So I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, I paid for this expensive scoreboard to use, a custom one, and then I had to go to this platform through the StreamYard, and then it gives me the option with the ticker, and I can do the photos, because I had to kind of try to reinvent myself again to try to see where I could go. But if I'm able to do the other format, I can have the mock draft behind me, and I could be like minimized in the corner. But on this format, I don't think it'll allow me to. And if it does, then maybe I have to pay more money and open up some new things. So. Yeah, copyright strikes would not be good. But usually you don't get copyright struck with like mock draft stuff, as long as you're not showing like, video. But sometimes they'll try to block a video for, certain things like audio. It's like every commercial nowadays has a song attached, and it's not like I'm trying to put a song on, but if like a fucking Burger King commercial has a 10-second, snippet of something, that's not my fault, but sometimes they try to, block things, and sometimes they don't. And I don't know. It's just, sometimes it's touchy. Chief, you have a particular, do you have a particular player that you want to see? I want to at least squeeze in a photo or two for you as well, brother. Oh, here's another Pete Carroll brand new one. I haven't seen this one. There's one. Yeah, I'm always down. Like I said, if I have to start shifting the focus back to like NFL every day, and I mean, I'm going to be doing the baseball stuff when that comes around and whatnot for like Mariners. But you know, if it comes down to doing like NBA games or just talking NFL, I would rather do NFL. But I'm always willing to try new things to try to help me and the rest of us grow. You know what I mean? So whatever the fans want, you know, obviously everything is kind of calculated, but I'm always willing to talk NFL over NBA because I enjoy NFL more than the NBA. I just do it because it's an event, you know, for that particular day. So. Maybe Dante Hall. Got to throw some old school up. I might have to take Paisley for another walk. She's whiny right now, too. There you go, Chief will Chief. Woo, that looks good. Oh, Chief will Chief, thank you, man. We got our first Cash App dono today, the $10 holla. That'll help, dude. Thank you. Every dollar counts no matter what it is, you know, going towards rent and bills. Thank you, man. Chief, you are the best, dude. Thank you. You and Megan and Reflect and Sarah, appreciate you guys. Hi, honey. Chief will Chief, $10 dono as we're kind of getting close to wrapping up the show. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you, Chief. Anything you want to see here right at the very, very end, let me know. Like I said, I got you. And we went over, obviously, some of the other breaking news and things that happened. Obviously, Dalton Schultz and Devin Singletary to the Texans as well. And went over my sensational 7, how crappy the Bucs are going to be. And then we got to see a lot of really cool Seahawks photos and Chief photos and go over a few different scenarios and whatnot. Paisley's in my lap right now, being a whiny baby. Are you being a bad girl or a good girl, Paisley? Like, I'm just so thankful she didn't like run away. Like the front door is open. She nudged it open and she just doesn't have a collar on, you know, because I put it on her and she's just running outside. I mean, the good thing she just didn't like run away or someone grabbed her. That would have been terrible. And sometimes the wind just naturally blows like the door open, but yeah, got to be careful. And luckily I just went outside and said Paisley and she kept running, so she didn't go too far. Thank God. That would have been bad. Ooh, look at this other one I found. I've never seen this one before, Chief will Chief. Ooh, look at that. That's a cool one. Today's a lucky day, man. I've seen more new photos today than I've had in a long time. And then obviously I'm trying to upgrade the channel with the transparent logos. So once I start doing that, that'll be able to do that for like baseball, basketball, football, everything. But God, it makes everything look so much better. If we're talking about a team and I can have that in the corner, it just takes it to the next level. Or if I'm doing a top 10 list or, players, teams, whatever. And then I can use that as another piece of a graphic. It's a lot of work, but it makes it worth it, You did? Oh my gosh. And like I said, we don't, I watch her, like, usually the doors are not all closed and everything. Like we'll leave the back, door open, but there's like a fence. She won't go over that. But if she gets out the front door, then that's another story. So, but usually every time we close it, but if the winds are gusty, yeah. But I was like, what the hell? How long has she been outside for? And luckily I didn't have to go too far and she was there. She knows, I think, where home is and whatnot. And we have a kind of like a canoe type thing in the back, this big ass yellow one. So it's like, it takes up a chunk of it back there. And so I think she knows. I try, man. I try for you guys.
This is now a Jack in the Box commercial, and this is the new Mint Mobile Shake. That's right, we even sublet their name. Really everything.
All right, what about a Tamba? A Tamba Ali. Gotta do Tamba. We don't do Tamba too much. Yeah, Paisley's kind of been on one. She usually won't be nippy or bitey towards me and stuff, but sometimes she wants to play when people are sleeping. So when people are like trying to sleep, it's like, we can't play with you at this time and stuff. So what's up, Matt? Unfortunately, we are just about to wrap up, and I'm going to probably end the stream here in just a couple minutes. But I will be back tomorrow, and we'll be back at it again. But we went over all NFL things. People can come back and watch the stream and go through that. But I'm probably going to go to the store here and then try to keep Paisley somewhat entertained since she's being a little antsy and whatnot. So, oh, good. All right. Thank you so much for all your guys' support and everything. And, I didn't know if we were going to be able to get to the goal today, but we did because of your guys' generous support. You guys are the fucking best. And again, I'll start doing polls on the channel in the morning, but if we have to start doing more NFL talk daily, I don't mind. You know what I mean? I just do the events of like NBA and other things just because, I knew it'll probably grab more of a newer audience. But just because those newer audience people are seeing it doesn't mean they're going to sub or comment or donate or even be a part of the channel. So I want to, cater to you guys. So. Yeah, I went over some of the teams here and I tried to do some updated logos here, but just to kind of show Matt before we go, but kind of the 7 teams that I thought did the best job. Obviously the Texans are my number 1. Bears are number 2. And then a collection of teams in no other specific order that I like what they did. Saints, Bengals, Atlanta, Detroit, the Jets, as you can see the logos there in the corner. Tampa is absolutely fucking terrible. That's obviously a C-. And then obviously you got teams like Seattle, the Titans that we discussed. And then we got the nice little Chiefs logo. God, that one looks great. With the arrowhead, everything looks so streamlined and clean. I mean, the Texans made so many moves, man. Sheldon Rankins, Jimmy Ward, Robert Woods. The Robert Woods one actually isn't even the best one. Rankins, Ward, Woods, Boone, Brown, Keenum, Beck, Winovich, Hassan Ridgeway, Shaq Mason. And they have the 2nd and 12th pick. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see where things kind of go. And DeAndre Hopkins, yeah, could you imagine? He still has some game left. Let's see if I can we'll get the DeAndre Hopkins photo here real quick. And we're going to probably, he would look good in the uniform and it would give him a chance to try to win.
I'm not going to fight you now, and I won't fight you at WrestleMania either. Exactly what I thought. A scared little man.
What could be? Hopkins and the Chiefs. Well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for all your guys' love and support. And I'm glad I got to debut some of the new logos, new additions to the channel. It's always going to make things a little bit more fresh and swaggy. And you guys are the best. I love you. And we'll go over many other things throughout free agency. Like I said, I did grades pretty much for every team. I have breakdowns for every team. So it just kind of depends on, the appropriate time. And then we'll be able to go over all of that. And, we'll decide. We have the championship tomorrow that we'll be able to go over. But again, if I have to do more NFL things, I definitely will. Thank you so much to Megan, Chief Will Chief, Reflect, Sarah, everyone in the building, and then even Matt coming in here at the end. We have a lot more NFL to discuss, so there'll probably be other streams throughout the week that we can continue to go over free agency tracker and news. Thank you guys so much for your love and your support and your donos and your conversations and your sharing and your comments. You guys are the best. And I will be back tomorrow, and we'll do this all over again. Love you guys and appreciate you. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Appreciate everyone. Love you, gang.